Там під Львівським замком старий дуб стоїть. Там під Львівським замком старий дуб стоїть, а під тим дубочком січовик лежить. Він лежить, не дише, він неначе спить. Він лежить, не дише, він неначе спить. Золоті кучері вітер шелестить. Висока могила, хрест березовий. Висока могила, хрест березовий, а на тому хресті тризуби золотих.
Hi rollers. This song is dedicated to Pete. If you read the lyrics, if you read the subtitles, they are automated, but they are pretty accurate. It may fuck you up just like it did to me, you know. I'm listening it for the second time today, and the first time was much worse. I would not speak like this after the first time. This is for you, my friend. Guys, I hope you can hear me. I hope it is working. Give me a plus plus if you can. Thank you for the hugs. I think we will listen to it once again today. Later. Just give me a second to listen. Message from Big Mac. Voice message, 32 seconds, and it will take me just 20 seconds to listen to it. Sorry. These earbuds are total shit. Big Mac says that he's gonna be here in time. He's gonna be here in time, so no, he said 10 or 15 minutes late, maybe. So maybe not in time, but in less than an hour, 100%. So 55 minutes maximum, as he told me just now. Guys, I was so productive and energetic today, and I think I will be. But this listening to this song really made me grieve, and that gets the productivity out of the way. So just need to take a moment to just give me a second. I forgot to put the second light. So I'll go under the couch. I keep it there. You're gonna see me standing on my knees there. I think. Oh, yeah. Now you also see the second light, how it looks. You all feel it. Yeah, guys, I know. This song is about Cossack. About Cossack's grave. And it's a lonely grave. And it has a golden trident on the cross. The cross is wooden. And the trident is gold. Under the couch. Well, a sofa. I don't know. Yeah, funding is going well, and I'm happy to see it. I just checked it today. And this was pretty cool to see that right now they have, or we, I think it's as multi-community for Pete, for Tatiana, for Constantine. It seems like they will all go one by one. Sorry, guys. but I think you understand. It is always the music which really makes me feel deeply. £63,175 out of £320,000 goal. It went from around £7,000. So we have, let me count. We have 19%, almost 20, 19.74% raised. This is fantastic, guys. I call each and every one of you, someone just donated, who didn't take part yet, to make a donation, because Pete's unit deserves it. At least one or two lives will be saved with any of this equipment that they need. 67 viewers right now. Well, at least on my side. It always displays differently here on Streamlabs and there on YouTube. I don't know why. Beaten Project Constantine was highlighted with Ukraine official Instagram the other day after the news broke. Oh yeah, everyone was posting that news. A lot of Ukrainian media, United 24, each Ukrainian YouTuber, of course. I wanted to make a video, like a separate video, but I just cannot. I cannot. It feels like I don't know. I simply can't. So, I wonder if it's gonna be me sitting here and crying for the next hour. Fuck. Thank you for reminding me to stay hydrated, because I will lose some water with these tears. Fuck. You know, guys, on one hand, I want to get my shit together. and do a productive stream. On the other hand, I would like to feel. I just want to feel. Feel this pain. Processing the emotions is important. Only that is what heals. I really didn't I don't know how to say it. Didn't let it take over yet. I didn't let it take me over yet. But I let it now, and I think this wave has just gone back to the sea of sorrow because I feel better. I can speak now. I can talk now. Fuck. I'm sorry, guys. So sorry for Pete, not for crying. I'm not sorry for that. I'm sorry for Pete. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the words of support. I read them. Okay, you started donating. You amazing human beings. No, it's still, for me, it's still under 64,000. Lynn. Oh, shit. Pigeon. Pigeon, hey, my friend. Hi, guys. I'm happy to see each and every one of you. Yeah, grief comes in waves. I think this is my first wave, guys. I think I was still in denial until today. And now it hit me. It hits me with realizing that he's gone. And this wave hit me pretty hard. Want to spread the word? You can get the word out by spreading Rick's and the other pro-Ukrainian streamers' channels in other live streams. Find popular live streamers, post links, easy. You usually cannot post link there if you're just a viewer. You can only do that as moderator or owner of the channel, but you can put the link into the comment of the stream. Thank you, guys. I really feel that you're with me right now. I really feel the support. I feel those hugs. Thank you, my friends. I hug you in return because you also need it. Just like me. Each of you needs a hug. Because it's a terrible loss for all of us and for all the humanity, because people like Pete, I think only people like Pete make the humanity what it is. Like, no, not this. They make the humanity, hopeful and filled. Like, only by them we can see that humanity is not lost, that we are not only slaves or dictators, or brainwashed by propaganda invaders, not just genociders. We have hope, we have hope for humanity thanks to the people like Pete. Salt of the earth people coming together to continue on. What a flaming heart did before. Pete, guys, I thought that everything in Pete's life had meaning, and he was a person who brings meaning to each of his word, each of his action, and even Pete's death has a meaning and a purpose, and this purpose, it is really being fulfilled right now. And it is uniting more people around the world. It is showing a lot of people around the world that this matters them, I'm convinced that the thing that the information about his death, the news about his death went all around, in all the media, all over the world. This is his work and his achievement, and he's fulfilling this purpose even after he's gone, and he's a legend, the real legend that I'm gonna tell to my grandchildren if I will have them, if I will survive, and you will tell this legend to your children. They will pass it to your grandchildren. We need him in books, we need him in movies, we need him in all over the place, because he's a remarkable person who made history, who changed this war. I'm convinced that we're just in the beginning of the big change, of the big uniting change that will come, and that will bring our victory closer. That's what I believe in, and I am sure, guys, you feel it too. Thank you for all that you do, for all the donations to Pete. This means a lot to me. This means a lot to his brothers in arms, who I'm sure grieve a lot more than us, because when you develop such a strong relationship as brotherhood brotherhood in arms, you probably, it tears you apart to lose someone. Sorry guys that I'm not reacting to the comments right now, but I just feel like I need to express my thoughts. I feel like this is maybe gonna be my video about Pete, the separate video, you know? Like, I just do it my way. I do it live, I do it with pauses, with crying, just genuinely as I am. Break, how do you pronounce Pete's last name? Fouché? Or is it? Let me read it somewhere. Fouché? Actually, it's a bit confusing. Oh, it's on my PayPal. I've been sending donation to Pete's fundraiser, Project Tatiana, during the Mark and everyone, guys. Mark Garcia, I think it was you who donated to Project Constantine on my PayPal. Unfortunately, this is not the way to do it. Only through their donor box. The link is in the description of the stream. I can make a refund of this donation because I just cannot do it without losing a big part of it, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to take time. So guys, please, if you want to donate to Pete's fundraiser, support Project Constantine, go to that link. It's in the description. If I'm not mistaken, it's third link there. Oh, by the way, I forgot to change another link there, so just give me a minute, guys. I will go and do that, and just Reese, thank you very much for that super chat, $10 super chat. Remember the children that were stolen by Russia. Pete is playing with the children who have died. More than 500 Ukrainian children have been killed, and that's only confirmed information. We still don't know how many of them were killed on occupied territories, but you know, guys, we should remember that more than 500 Ukrainian children were killed by Russians. Thank you, Reese, for that beautiful message and for reminding us about stolen Ukrainian children. Mark, thank you. Should I do the refund, tell me, or should I keep it for our fundraisers and for 2 tickets for you for our next raffle? So guys, I actually have one fantastic patch for you to raffle. And this patch is legendary. Some of you may not know what the unit is this, but I'm sure a lot of you will recognize it, as this is a very famous unit. Well, not a unit, it's like a whole structure here in Ukraine. It looks like this. You guys should know what it is, what structure it belongs to. You see an owl there holding a sword, and the sword is actually hitting Russia, or it is above the Russia and Russians. Yeah, that's not a drone. That emoji is an owl holding the sword. Yes, this is GUR, Security Service. Nah, not Security Service of Ukraine. Security Service of Ukraine is SBU. This one is HUR, which is GUR, so to say. It is the main Directorate of Intelligence of Ukraine. This was a gift from one of the units that work under the this patch, you know, and you guys can start buying tickets for it. Just as always, $10 for a ticket and the unlimited number of tickets. So this is epic. I actually have one of my own here already. Let me get the Bradley away. Yeah, here's another owl there, holding the sword above Russia. And yeah, this, you know, guys, I want to be honest with you. I would love to support Pete's campaign for 67's Brigade, and I actually supported it with my own donation. But I mean, like, we as a community could do a fundraiser, right? A raffle for that. This would be amazing. But the problem is, for me, 4 units requested an equipment already a month, some of them a month and a half ago, and they're waiting for that equipment, and they are risking their lives without that equipment. So, guys, that's the problem. I have the responsibility. I have that obligation, which I have for them, you know, and I need to stick to it, and I just cannot let the fundraiser stop even for a week. It's difficult to support all the fundraisers. I could stop it for a week and do one big fundraiser for Project Constantine, but then that means one more week of delay. So tell me if you understand me, and if you think my tactics is okay, or I could stop it for a week and nothing serious could really happen in this week. Like a week later, week earlier, the unit that I promised to get equipment to will get it. What do you think, guys? How essential it is? Is it that essential as I see it? And those obligations, you know, guys, they also kind of wait, not like wait, but wait, GHT, yeah. So, yeah, I think weeks matter. Mark Sangaman, thank you very much for 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate it a lot. Don't worry, Rick. I feel Project Constantine will be divinely supported. Thank you, Deborah A, for the support. Michelle Ferguson, I understand the unit needs the equipment. Yeah, that is tough. Follow your heart. Yeah, guys, these 4 units need you, so no. My pleasure. Thank you, Mark. Once again. Work current, and when they are finished, we can do a push on Pete's project. The problem is they're constantly arriving. Like, I'm gonna be done, we are gonna be done with these 4 units in just 2 or 3 months. It will take us 2 or 3 months, guys, to get these fundraisers done, and it will, the new requests will be coming in these 3 or 4 months, and Pete's fundraiser will be 100% closed in the next month, I am sure, if not weeks, if not a few weeks. So that's the thing. It seems like I'm being an asshole, being a part of this huge community of multiple communities and not supporting that fundraiser with our smaller fundraisers, you know. But I have promised to those units that we're gonna help them, and that's the situation. Tyler Dowdy, thank you very much for super chat, $10. Don't know you are still doing this, but would you be willing to play Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas? Thank you for everything you do, Rick, and carry on. Yeah, would be cool to also do it today. I just have a few things to tell you before Big Mac joins us, and he joins us in 10 minutes already. Time flies, especially when you're grieving and expressing your thoughts. Sir Garrick, Rick, do current fundraisers first. Pete's memory will be eternal, so we can do it later. Thank you, Sir Garrick. Also for the encouragement. Rick, there is no wait when it comes to soldiers. They need stuff yesterday. I'm a US veteran, so I know the pain soldiers experience when stuff doesn't arrive on time. Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait? How can I do both of those? Oh, have your responsibilities, don't worry. You already showed the page and can do more if you like. I will be showing the page on my each stream and many videos because it's important. I will be talking about this. I supported it with my own money. I just cannot allow myself to do the whole raffle for it or something. I explained myself 100% transparently and clearly, and I think most of you understand that. We can handle both fundraising efforts without delaying any units, said friend Thornbury. But you mean just through Project Tatiana, right? Rick, I found the link and donated to Project K. Mark Garcia, thank you. Should I return those $20 back to you? Or... Yeah, many of you donated there too, Sir Garrick. I'm sure I donated £100 too on the previous stream. Still feels like not enough. I will donate, I think, once again when I get my salary from what? From Buy Me a Coffee. I withdrawn the money, but I still haven't got it. Haven't received it on Payoneer for now. You have such a good heart, Rick. Trusted. Thank you, McPigeon. Thank you, guys. Guys, we need to ban the troll. Oh, are you trolling? You're probably trolling or rooting for Russia, which is even worse. This Dmitry Luhayazhov, which is actually not the Russian name, guys. It is Cyrillic or Cyrillic, but it's not Russian. So yeah, just hammer them. Rick, I'm sure many of us... this one I've already... Sorry, Rick, please keep the 20 for the patch raffle. Awesome, awesome, guys. Oh, so Jake mentioned that fundraiser. Amazing. That's how they got extra 50k or something. So cool. I'm happy to hear that, because in his first video where he mentioned Pete's death, he didn't mention the fundraiser, and now he mentioned it. I'm so happy. I was really hoping that Jake will bring attention to that one. Never gonna let you down. Thank you very much, Anthony Norton, for 5 coffees. The notification works today. I just need to restart my laptop every time I'm about to start the stream. Anthony Norton, 5 coffees for full time. Keep rolling. Respect. Slava bro. Oh, sorry, it doesn't work like that, Anthony. I mean, thank you very much for $5. But to actually increase the number of this progress bar, you need to become a member on Buy Me a Coffee. So if you're ready to support me monthly with, let's say, $3 or more, if you can afford it, or if you have the means, so to say, you can become a member there. It is the membership tab there. So By the way, guys, if you want to become a member on my Buy Me a Coffee, you will receive either this one from me or this one. You will have to choose, though, which one you want more. Abrams or Rick the Ukrainian, so thank you so much for everyone who's becoming a member there. This is essential for me to stay capable of living, you know. Right now, guys, you actually got me to a point where I can live. I have enough money to donate these days. You got me to that point. I finally, like, when I was working here and working on my job, which I quit to do this full time, I, you know, I when I was doing both, I could afford to live and to donate sometimes, like this time. Like, I donated 100 pounds, but before I got to the level I am at, when I just started for full-time rolling for a month or two, I could not really actively donate sums of money like 100 pounds. It was a bit big for me, big of a donation. But right now, I can afford some new equipment like the laptop, the MacBook, and what else did I buy for these? There was something else, I think. But anyway, I just am very, very grateful for this, and thank you for 5 coffees, Anthony. If you were considering to become a member on Buy Me a Coffee, just know this is the way. Sorry, guys, but I got distracted. Rick, love what you are, real and true to your feelings. We are all heartbroken and healing, and we come together to support one another. Not talking about Pete would feel weird. Yeah, we need to talk about him, and I will. By the way, one Reese, thank you very much for $2 super chat. Do Pete's now while the topic is fresh. The fundraiser. So you don't think it is wise to do? Well, I understand what you are saying, but I see majority supports me in my feelings and my decision. Dr. Gertis pulled off all other links except Pete's fundraiser. I think it's not intentionally, because Dr. Gertis, I'm sure he wants to support Pete both-handedly. Most on YouTube are talking about Pete's fundraiser, and most are leaving a link. That's amazing. That's fantastic, and let's hope that by the end of this month, the needed sum of money will be raised. Since Jake, connected his community to it, and it got extra 50,000. Well, not 50. I would say 45. No, maybe even 40. Yeah, like 40, because it was almost 20,000 there before they joined in. So let's hope that they will massively, like, let's say, raise 50% of it at least, because they are capable of raising $1 million altogether. So 320,000 pounds is totally doable with their community and all of our communities combined. Glad to be able to support you. Thank you, Jeroen. Thank you very much. Thank you, Frank Schifrin, for this kiss. For this kiss, how do you call it? Super sticker. Fuck. It's hard to think when you just cried. Pete was a saint. He definitely is a saint now. Thank you, Mr. Squiggle. By the way, Deborah A., thank you for becoming a stinger. Okay, guys. what I need to mention, I actually need to send the link for Joe, the Big Mac, to join the stream. Send the link to him. Let me do it right now. And we're gonna have him in just a few minutes. Just a second, guys. Okay, my friends. So, Rick, these other groups need you now. You called it right. Thank you. The one, the only. Big Mac. Yeah, Andreas made his emoji, and this is an emoji from my video of from what, February it was? I think it was February. We went to Holodomor Museum, the genocide that Russians created in 20th century multiple times in Ukraine. At least 3 times they've been starving Ukrainian people to death, to break our will, to erase our identity. They starved in 1932-33. They starved at least 3 million people in Ukraine. If you didn't know what Holodomor is, that's what it is. And we have a museum for it. And being in this museum is hard, because that's a tough time. That's a tough, genocide. And there are books with the names of people from different regions, and those books are this big and this thick. It's just hard. You can just turn the pages of those books for hours. And that famine, that was actually done by Soviets. So it's not just a famine, natural famine, it is a famine that's been done by Soviets. Brian P, thank you so much for becoming a member. Rick, thank you so much for all you do for Ukraine and the world. Make it a better place. Thank you so much for becoming a member. By the way, guys, this number here right now is not the actual one. It's plus $8 during the week. Mark, I think it's Mark Garcia, who increased his membership tier from Stinger to Javelin, and also we had a new Stinger, so now it's plus $8. And now it's also plus, let me check. Thank you, Brian. PR. And world to make it a better place. Thank you. Yeah, you're becoming a Javelin, so plus $18. I'm adding it to the jar right now. Let me do it to make it actual and like real time or something. Thank you. Plus $18. Okay, guys, I have big news for you. I will join Greg Terry in his run, which will probably begin on Sunday, but not 100% sure that it's going to be Sunday. It may, how flexible Greg Terry is, and that's very good. And that's very good that he's flexible. Thank you. The progress bar is updated back to 93% again. Thank you very much, everyone who's becoming a member. Hey, the Weasel, thank you for becoming a Javelin here. On YouTube, I also received a few donations. So after Mark Garcia, I got the donation from Julia Fira, $5 Canadian. Thank you very much, Julia. Then there's no comment under that one. Then from Silver Earth, which says, I completely understand. We have people relying on us. Thank you, Hubert, for becoming a member. Thank you very much. So, Silver Earth, we have people relying on us to save their lives. Hugs. You're right, it's $200 donation. You have yourself 20 tickets and another new member. For Pete, keep up the good work, Rick. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for becoming members. It's... Rick, my friend, you are a salt of the earth person. Keep rolling, buddy. I think it was Hubert. Zonke FH, thank you for becoming Bradley here. Thank you. I have no words. Thank you guys for all the support. So let me update the progress bar. Hubert, Stinger, someone, Stinger. Thank you guys for becoming Stingers. So plus $6 to the fundraiser jar. Well, fundraiser. This is not a fundraiser. This is a full-time Roland jar. Plus 6, and it's gonna be 1,874. It just updated. Thank you guys. All of those who just become a member on my Buy Me a Coffee, please send me your data right away. Your data is your address, your full name, and your phone number, and the specification, which patch you want, Abrams or Rick the Ukrainian. Please do this, and yeah, which of them you want. This one is called Rick the Ukrainian or RTU, and this one is called Abrams. So just let me know there right away. You can message me here, guys. This is my... Either join our Discord community, or if you're already there, just find me there and message me. If not, you can go here. Let me show you this stream today. By the way, don't forget to like this stream, guys. It means a lot, first of all. But secondly, it makes the chances for us to be discovered by some random people out there are much bigger. So yeah, that's it. So in the description, you also have my mail. If you don't use Discord, guys, you can send your information, or if you want privacy and you don't trust Discord, you can send it to my mail here. It's my PayPal. You can use this mail to send me your data. Please, I need at least 3 emails from you or messages on my Buy Me a Coffee. It's someone, the last one, then Hubert, and then Brian PK. Thank you very much, guys. Please do this for me. This will make it easier for me. I won't need to contact you. Yeah, and I will just already have your information. Rick, 4 million starved is horrible, especially knowing the US at the time looked the other way. Yeah. Now we are where we are. Those 4 million would have resulted in much larger Ukraine. You're right. You're right. Hey, awesome rollers. I'm at work just saying hi and dropping a like. Rick, hope you are doing okay, buddy. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you very much. And I think our guest is already waiting there. Yeah, I just wasn't looking on Streamlabs, so I didn't see him there. But... just give me a second and I will add him to the stream. Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Hello, Rick. How are you? Is the sound okay?
Yeah, pretty loud. I like it.
Okay, good stuff. Nice. Yeah, I'm good. Nice to see you again. I can't remember what month was it we last did a stream.
February, man. I checked yesterday.
Okay, yeah. It's been ups and downs since then. I don't expect you to keep up with all my content, but January and February there was a lot of very close explosions to me. Like I nearly died a bunch of times, and that just added up. Like there's a thing that apparently has just been sort of published in America that most people thought TBIs, traumatic brain injuries from blast, was it's either one big one that basically gives you a stroke or you're fine. But it turns out that you can get cumulative ones much the same way that boxers or American footballers would. So that's basically what happened to me. So most of February and March and some of April, I've just been. February was rough. It was like being senile. You know, I'd go to the ATB 3 times and come back with water none of those times. You know, come back with like some shit, some chocolate. You know, the sort of things you automatically buy when you go into a shop. What I'd gone for, I couldn't remember, and was just tired and lethargic. You know, depressed. But it was pretty rubbish, which sounds like it's all kind of first world problems compared to some of the injuries that people get here.
I would not say so, because brain injury makes your quality of life not worse than sometimes not you know, I won't not smaller than losing a limb, because
I when it was bad, I was honestly thinking I'm psychologically prepared for losing a limb, but being half the man that you live in your head, you are your brain, you know. So being half the person you used to be was pretty terrifying, to be honest. Like if I lose a leg or an arm, it's going to be shit, but I will continue and I will overcome it. But if I'm just 50% intelligent and either really angry or really sad all the time, may as well just go for the old Remington retirement plan, basically, as the Americans like to say, or as I coined the idea, go down to the side of the Dnipro with glow sticks and do the YMCA until that tank deals with me. But it's I overcame that, and I had to basically drop becoming an FPV pilot at the time, because there's the thing about flying FPV is like 25 or 30% of what an FPV pilot needs to be able to do. And if you're in a situation like the trenches of Bakhmut, where you're launching FPVs from a kilometer to where the Russians are, and they're just in the next trench that's across the open ground, then you can just fly the FPV and find them yourself. You know, you don't even need a supporting Mavic looking down and communicating with you. You don't need a navigator looking at the map. We're flying much longer distance missions to the flat plains of village Ukraine, where every house, you know, if you're lucky, there's 3 different colors of roof in a village. Sometimes there's 1, you know, because communism. So yeah, being able to communicate and for the pilot to understand exactly what corrugated concrete or asbestos roof he's going for requires fluent Ukrainian and a really good knowledge of the area. You know, when you're looking out the window from a high building, you can see that's the Dnipro, that's the starry Dnipro, that's the Conker, that's that little river. You know, you can see all of that. Once you're through an FPV camera, it's just all water. You know, so the lack of Ukrainian and basically just the diminished mental capacity made me drop off from that. But I'm now I'm a qualified Mavic pilot. I fly Mavics for the unit all the time, and I've been working on being a sapper. And now I work directly with our chief sapper, who's an officer, and make the bombs for the drones. And I so far have 100% success rate, and that's nice. You know, made a bunch for our. Well, I never met the bloke, but I genuinely feel his loss. Made a bunch for Pete yesterday and today. Couple more for Jacko, you know, and a few for Yeah, a few for people who have been long-term donators of mine, who I've decided to just give a little thanks to. But I wish I had clearance. I got a video of 2 kilograms of plastic explosives with Pete's name on it destroying a Russian FPV team yesterday. So that would have been nice, but I have to get permission from the boss before I can show those things online. You know. But yeah, Pete's already got a few servants for the afterlife, so you know. So yeah, well, that's a little summary of how things have been.
I have so many questions for you. First of all, I want to ask you. So how do you feel now, and when did you start to feel better after this terrible Akabara trauma?
I had some. I mean, it was January and February where all the bangs happened. So, guest recovery period was like 3 or 4 months. I had leave. I went on holiday to Odessa about 7 or 8 weeks ago, I think. And by the time I came back from that, I felt a lot better. I had a very restful holiday in Odessa. I sat by the sea and definitely didn't go swimming because that's forbidden.
For how long?
I had 10 days. I had 10 days and I did very little except walk my dog. I did get very drunk and get into a brawl with the bouncers at an Irish bar because one of them didn't like the dog and whacked him on the nose. But soldier on leave, like normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good fight though. I enjoyed myself, you know. So yeah, that was good. And I was after that, I was still feeling just not quite 100%, but I'd say like the last month, I've been feeling great, you know.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it, you know. Really, because for example, Roman Trohimets, you know him, right?
I met him when I was the same time I met you in Kyiv. I ran into Roman on the street outside the Cherry Wine Bar, and he didn't know of me, but I knew of him. And when he's a celebrity, you know, he's an actual. Like, I'm a minor YouTuber clawing a few extra drones for a TDF.
High five, brother.
You know, yeah, you know,
a minor YouTubers.
but like. Roman's a proper celebrity and is also a very brave assault trooper. So he was like, yeah, he was an actual celebrity walking down the street in Kyiv, and I was already quite drunk on sherry wine. So after I'd sort of said, "Oh yeah, it's great to meet you. I'm a YouTuber too," and I was like, and he was telling me about his brain injury. I suddenly had a moment of like, and I'm going to stop talking to you now and let you go about your way. Because I'm aware how annoying a pissed person in the street you don't know when you've got a brain injury actually would be. I'm aware of this. So yeah. But if Roman's watching, he has my respect, and I hope to speak to him again one day when I'm like more sober. Yeah.
I mentioned Roman because he's rehabilitation for, I would say, at least 9 months now, maybe a year already. It's not helping him. He's losing consciousness on the street when he is...
I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, it's that bad, and he actually uncovered all of this on Instagram. He told people his story that he's struggling right now. He just goes for a walk and loses consciousness for a few hours somewhere, losing coordination. He's not losing consciousness. He can still hear people, can understand him, but his head is spinning so hard that he cannot get up. People come to him, people try to help, and sometimes he says, okay, I appreciate the care from the people, but the thing is, it also feels awkward because what I need is just to lie there for a few hours, and I'm gonna get up when I feel better, and I will go back home.
The indignity of having diminished capabilities. You know, like in that time, there were things like, you know, going to the Occo or to another garage, to WOG or something like that. And like, you know, I forgot my wallet a bunch of times, you know, and little things that just make you seem like a fucking idiot, right? And normally, if you made a mistake like that, you'd laugh it off. But when you've got a bunch of soldiers on the checkpoint because you can't remember your fucking commander's name at the moment, or like you keep getting the number of your brigade wrong, you know, through your like broken Ukrainian, because these facts are just they're right. It's like your own fucking, you know, once you're in the army, your unit name, your number, your commander's call sign, that's all like your own name to you. You know it 100%. But if you've taken enough whacks to the head, suddenly you can't do that stuff, and it makes you feel like an idiot. But I've fortunately not had it so bad where I've been passed out in the street. And, you know, I thought when you first told me he'd been passing out, because I'm a soldier and don't have any proper working emotions anymore, the first thing I thought was, yeah, I mean, at least Ukraine's the kind of country where just like being passed out drunk on the grass is normal and people won't particularly judge you for it. But, you know, it's a thing you see. But if you are a guy like Roman and you are a disciplined, dignified, honourable, intelligent, hard-working soldier, knowing that that's the first thing people will think must really fuck with you, you know. It must be embarrassing, or thinking that that's one of the things they could be thinking, at least, you know.
I think the big problem is our society is unfortunately not ready for it yet, and this is not going to be the first thing which 70% of the people will think, because we still have so many dumbasses there, man. Close to the front line, probably you don't see them, but in Kyiv, people are asking. Some of them are asking, okay, they can take out the electricity, but why they are taking our mobile network connection? Or some dumbasses ask, why do we don't have electricity? What fucking bubble they live in? I just and
every country's got dumb motherfuckers. Trust me, you know, every country's got retards. A lot of people don't have any real idea that, you know, of how the electrical system works. You know, people, you know, you'd be surprised. The West, the civilized and democratic West is definitely still full of complete idiots. So don't feel too bad. But it can be more shocking when everything is so vivid and needed to be understood because you're at war, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, there's another example which I stumbled upon today. There was a news about a Ukrainian veteran who lost both his legs. He's a veterinarian, and he went back to work with animals. The camera was recording his workplace. The dude with the dog comes to him. He's sitting on his table, and his legs are behind, underneath the table. So that is actually an example of a fucking asshole, not a dumbass, but a fucking asshole. So what that dude said, he said, "Hey, no." First, veterinarian asked him to turn his dog to him so he can see, or to bring his dog closer to him, and he said, "Hey, why don't you get up yourself and come to the dog?" The dude just turns. He gets from under the table, turns to him with his prosthetics on both legs, and says, "This is why." And that fucking asshole, he gets up, starts yelling at him like, "Go fuck yourself," and walks out of the room. So this dude seems not to respect our military, not to respect their sacrifice, and really actually, how do you call it? Despise it? Like, is it the word? So,
you know, you can get people in quite professional jobs who are still like mentally ill at some level, you know, or they're just a cunt. You know,
there was a
like
client.
If you've been to enough hospitals and doctors over the year, you know, it's like it's forbidden in England to speak badly of the NHS. They're all fucking angels, and every doctor and nurse is like fucking sent down from God on high. But some of them are fucking cunts.
No,
you
man,
know.
this is different. This is different. So this veterinarian was the guy without legs. Not it was the
Oh.
client. Yes, the client was rude to a veterinarian who is also a veteran who lost his both legs. A client.
Well,
A-
yeah, okay. Oh, I got the wrong end of the
yeah,
stick there. But,
yeah.
well,
The client was uh, a he looked like he's you know, one of those privileged fucks who live here in Kyiv, who has tons of money and don't care about their people, their country, who has no dignity, who has no fucking self-respect, who only care about becoming richer and richer. That dude seems like that to me. I know that type, you know, so. There are plenty of them in here. Unfortunately, I see them on the streets. But
Yeah.
of course, there are different examples.
I got that bit between my teeth when I was on leave in Odessa. I was I made a friend. I'm not going to name him just to sort of for his own personal security, but I made a friend who's a former player for a couple of your major hockey teams here in Ukraine. And I ended up holidaying with him, and he's living in a nice part of town near, quite close to that Harry Potter castle that got hit by the Iskander that was 4 days after I left, you know, and I was like, there's no soldiers in that area. I wonder if that was for me. That'd be sweet if it was a whole Iskander for Big Mac, you know, like
big missile for Big Mac.
That would be, you know, I mean, I was when I remember like us lying on the ground at Yaraviv with all the caliber missiles exploding and just joking with one guy. Well, it's like, well, at least someone cares about us, you know. if they're shooting caliber, if they're shooting Iskanders and caliber missiles out, it means that you're achieving something, you know. So yeah, got its own thing to it. But yeah, I kind of lost my thread. Yeah, so I was, as I'm holidaying in Odessa, it's like, you know, there's two sides to this argument. I know you've got a Ukrainian audience, so I want to offer some context and perspective from my international volunteer thing. Like, I've seen the Telegram videos of thuggish old USSR generation guys who are Ukrainian soldiers rounding up fucking ambulance men and stuff in Odessa. That's happened, right? So I can understand why some people, like Ukraine, in my opinion, has never really had a government before now worth believing in. You know, I think that's an argument that a lot of people might say. So it might be difficult for people to have faith. But when you see all these like guys in the mid-20s and 30s who are working in restaurants and coffee, it's like, why aren't you in uniform, mate? Because there's plenty of fucking teenage girls who could be making me a fucking cappuccino, you know, and plenty of 18-year-old lads who could be grilling me a steak. Yeah, that I don't, you know, what did you do during the war, Daddy? I served lattes in Odessa, you know, like, you really want to be that guy? And at the start, the army had some massive problems. The whole Ukrainian army did, and they've lasted. My belief, they're really changing now, but there's still a thing, and that was when general mobilization was declared. All the old Soviets came out the woodwork with their existing rank or higher, and that was good in some ways because Ukraine needed a fuckload of soldiers who kind of knew what they were doing really, really quickly. But it meant that the 8-year process you'd gone through with the help of Canada and other NATO nations, of basically decommunizing and modernizing your army from like 214 up to 22, was just out the fucking window. But now, you know, you see, even in my TDF unit, I can't say what, but there've been some organizational changes recently, and we're much more focused on technology. And there's been a lot more and drones, and there's a lot more training, and there's a lot more younger officers who are now moving up, you know, and that is good. And you have, you know, an entire new wing of the army that, you know, like the UAV services that's now been created.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have the Ukrainian Navy, which might not really have any ships, but it's destroyed more ships than any other navy since the Royal Navy in the Second World War. So you know, you're doing all right. And I would encourage young Ukrainian guys, if you want to serve your country, but you are maybe understandably shit scared of being put into an assault company that might be commanded by some old USSR bastard like the general in charge of the Marines they just fired down here, you know, because that was a thing. Crinky was a fucking horrible idea. I wouldn't go to Crinky. I told them I'd break contract if we got sent there, because it's a fucking dumb idea and it's got loads of Ukrainian killed. But if you sign up and embrace it, the Ukrainian army is an incredibly receptive place to people who want to do something, you know?
Yeah, man.
And as long as you're realistic and have the capabilities to do that thing, i.e. not everyone can be a sniper and not everyone can be an ace FPV pilot. But if you're just interested in working in those fields, like I'm not an ace FPV pilot, but I'm part of a really good FPV team and I do useful stuff there, you know? So that's what I'd say about people who don't want to be mobilized and people who maybe don't have as much faith in the government as they should, because it's your future that you have the opportunity to build now, you know?
You know, there's difference between government and country, because those fuckers don't understand that actually not supporting your government is not the same that not supporting your country, because it doesn't matter what government we're gonna have if we will have no Ukraine, you know, because if Russians come, but those
I could understand that. Like, I would rather have the worst possible British government than to be run by the French.
Yes,
you know,
man.
That like whatever, however fucking bad, however bad it could be, I'm still British and would fundamentally not want to be ruled by the country next door, no matter what supposed historic rights and linguistic links they have to us, you know, no matter what. But I can understand that, you know, a hopelessness, like a sense that if we're just run by oligarchs and the mafia and the corrupt, does it make much difference? But I think, you know, Ukraine is in the best position it's ever been in its entire history to really become the country it deserves to be and the country that the Ukrainian people deserve. But the Germans have a saying, you make the party. You don't turn up at a party and expect everything to be fucking laid on for you and perfect. You turn up with something and you make it a good party. And that's it. That's what needs to be done. That's what's on the table, but it has to be reached out and taken, you know, and
it just pisses me off that, well, those people are in each country, I think, and it's just that type of people that exist everywhere in every society, who will, you know, the opportunists, or what's the right pronunciation of that?
Opportunist,
yeah. The opportunists, they are just gonna be okay to live under Russia because they don't have any consciousness and they will just be okay, and then they don't care because they will always find their way, you know, to use the corrupt way and make their life easier everywhere. So in Soviet Union there were people like that also. They were in the party. They are just getting into elites, sucking up to them, you know, like leeches. So yeah, but I won't say they are the majority of people here in Ukraine. At least I want to believe that. But
I think, like, I've met some shitbags here. You know, some of them were soldiers. That's like 1% of the Ukrainian soldiers I've met, like most of them have been really, really good guys. Like, you know, the fact of the matter is, in any military, and especially under conscription, there's going to be people who are just kind of there and no one's sure why, but they are, you know, they are. And sometimes they, like, by processes of default or attrition, they seem to obtain levels of power for a certain bit, you know. We had a guy who got promoted to sergeant here, and it's just like you know the guy who, like, yeah, you show him like a sort of little note from someone, like a text message someone sent you, and it's like hello Rick, are you still available tomorrow? Can you confirm the time? Like, you know, a greeting and 2 succinct points, and it's like 15 minutes later, it's like, motherfucker can't read, can he? You know what I mean? But he's my sergeant, you know. But fortunately, he drank himself out of being a problem. So that was good. Yeah, you know, alcoholism, it sometimes can be a useful lever. You know?
Yeah, for other people around those dudes. Yeah.
yeah, just like leave a bottle of vodka lying around and wait for the commander to turn up, and they won't be a problem anymore, you know.
And just hope they will not shoot some of you meanwhile. That's definitely, yeah, maybe just like take the firing pins out on the quiet first, you know. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, and
So,
actually, for can you make a gun explode if the guy tries to shoot you? You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's ways to do that. Like a sufficiently blocked barrel would do. In other conflicts, we definitely would never do this, because this is definitely against the various conventions about war crimes. But it's entirely possible to take a bullet, take the projectile out of a bullet, a cartridge case, and take some of the gunpowder out and put some plastic explosives in, and then leave that somewhere where enemy soldier will find it. That's another thing you can do, but that's illegal, so you shouldn't do that. Definitely not. And there's also it's also high risk that it might come back into your circulation somehow, you know. Unless you like paint a little skull on the side or something like that, which might raise suspicion. So yeah, it's the thing you can do. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, the explosives are fun. I have a couple of props with me. You know, look, I can do a meme. So this is for someone who's trying to break in my house. This is for someone that's already in my house. And that's for when I want to just destroy the entire house.
Nice. People
Like,
in the chat.
when you become a sapper, you go from, like, I don't know how it is in every unit, but on ours, if we go to an infantry mission out to the swamps and the islands, they give us some hand grenades, but when we come back, they take our hand grenades away again. And now I'm a sapper, I've just got so much explosive in my room. You know, I've got like my own personal anti-tank mine, you know, just in case I want to wire it up to the doorbell in case the FFB come, you know.
That thing will destroy a house too.
Yeah. Who's like, I've so far have killed like 27 FSB agents, and yeah, who would have thought Deliveroo would have been working with the Russians, you know?
Man, your sense of humor is something that my chat absolutely loves. They are rolling there.
I can't see the chat, so I hope it's all going well. You know, like and subscribe, please, please, everyone. Big Mac's Battle Blog. You know, I'm sure there should be a link in the description, or that's not how live chats work, is there?
By the way, guys, to support this lovely and funny fella, you can actually go to the description of this stream. There's his PayPal there if you want to send money for equipment, because there are always needs in the units. What does your unit currently need?
Well, I'd say it's, and I put this, like I had a little rant on one of my videos the other day, and then I remembered, you know, that you've been raising money for a place where wounded soldiers are recovering. So I want to caveat my rant the other day by saying, other than the 4 things I'm about to mention, there are exceptions. For instance, soldiers who've been wounded and basically lost all their uniform. There's actually some problems with Ukrainian army bureaucracy, and sometimes people even get in trouble because their uniform got lost when they were wounded, right? It's army bullshit, but welcome to the fucking army, right? So boots for wounded soldiers who are coming back into circulation, and washing machines and microwaves for places where wounded soldiers are recovering, right, is totally appropriate. But if it's just the Legion being lazy, tell them to get fucked and buy their own microwave, you know? But anyway, yeah, the 4 things that every unit, in my opinion, needs all the time, and my unit needs all the time: really good quality vehicles, like not some old banger that we have to fucking fix all the time. And that's pretty much standard for Ukraine anyway, because Ukraine's roads be hard on people. There's a pothole every 100 meters minimum, every fucking road, you know, and normally made by a mortar. And so yeah, good quality vehicles. In a perfect world, they'd have soft armor and jammer, and generally a flatbed is better than a normal 4x4, right? That's one thing. Drones and drone related equipment of all descriptions, be it FPVs, Mavics, the whole family of them, because even the Classic has a use for light bombing, and, you know, maybe for like less trained pilots. You have to be a good Mavic pilot to land the M3T at night. Thermal drones are pretty much always the highest priority out of those things, because they be expensive. There aren't really any shop made ones. You've got to go commercial. So you need like a decent Autel, or you need a Mavic 3 thermal, or you need the Matrice if you're doing long range stuff. And we're hoping to move up to that now. And when I say drones, you know, there's things like EcoFlows and fucking high quality tripods and decent quality tablets and decent quality lightweight laptops. That all falls into that, you know. A drone team isn't just a guy flying a drone. It's a whole heavy weapons team and intelligence nub, you know. And then, yeah, vehicles, drones, decent quality. Like, I totally think that getting snipers, optics, and good machine gunners, like, the fucking different. A machine gun, like a dedicated machine gunner with a thermal sight, like this here. I'm really bad at Aurea. This here AGM Rattler 35mm. That'll sit on top of an M240 Bravo or a PKM happily. And then you can see everything out to like 2.5K, which is further than you can shoot. You know, and you can see through bushes and stuff with these, unlike standard night vision. Investing in them for units that ask for them is quality. What was the, so I did drones.
So this one is a thermal, right?
Yeah, that's a thermal. And it could also, if you want, you can, using Bluetooth or a wire, you can put this feed directly into a phone, or you can be using it and it can be going into a phone at the same time through Bluetooth, so someone else can be watching it. So it could be used as like a trench periscope, or you know, if the field of view is, if you know, if you're just watching, say, a few hundred meters that's 500-600 meters or a kilometer away, it just being in a fixed position, you could be in a warm little bunker not getting shelled horribly while this just sort of sits outside and does its job for you. But it's also a sniper or hunter grade thermal, and it's like €3,000, you know.
Yeah.
So outside of Ukraine, which if that guy is a quality, you know, a quality machine gunner, it's a good investment, you know. And machine guns, generally speaking, kill a fair number of people more than the average sniper. You know, they just don't get the glory because it's all slaughtery, and it is. You know, so yeah. And what was the 4th thing? Damn it! I've done vehicles and drones and drone-related things, and decent
Scopes.
scopes, decent quality optics.
What else do we raise money for, guys?
I mean, TACMed seems to be like, I kind of don't want to tread on anyone's toes because I know there's some really popular international like medic YouTubers, but there are massive orgs and NGOs and charities that give absolute shit tons of TACMed to Ukraine.
Well, the problem is with TACMed.
If I can get what my unit needs, I'm sure they can as well. You know, because everything else was supplied by the UK Army, and like everyone's got enough tourniquets and shit where I am. You know.
But you know the TACMed, tactical medicine, IFACs, they are expendables, and a lot of them are just being lost on the positions, not just used, just abandoned because you need to run in a hurry somewhere, or just lose it because you needed to jump somewhere and it was left on the bush or just fell off you somewhere. So I
mean, I get how that could happen. I mean, mine's mold to my body armor because that's where it should be, and I've never lost one, but I have lost shit in the field that I thought was securely mold on. So yeah, stuff like that happens, you know. Yeah, totally.
By the way,
TACMed's always going to be important, unfortunately. But yeah, you know, I'm definitely of the philosophy of pedonomics, where it's better to spend money on stuff that kills the enemy than it is to spend it on other things. You know, as heartless as that fucking sounds, I think it's like that's why I love FPVs, because you know, most of the bombs we use are literally recovered Russian stuff, you know, like Vogs have got loads of delicious RDX in, and that's great for blowing up walls, you know, and the Russian mine clearance line, it's like a rocket that fires like 100 meters hose full of plastic. Like if we find one of them, it's like happy day. It's like nearly a metric ton of plastic in one of them.
So the URM, they call them? No, you don't know.
I am studying all the different stuff, but I've just done a 12-hour day in the hot sun, wiping sweat out my eyes and making bombs, and then doing bomb delivery to different FPV teams. Basically, like something's come up, we need something like this, and you know, driving at 90 mile an hour through Kherson City in the middle of the day. Yeah, I'm totally. If I go back to the civilized world, I'm gonna have to like get whoever's with me or have a bit of paper in my car, being like, "You are not in the army. You are not in Ukraine. Laws exist."
Yes. This is actually one of the problems of the veterans. You know, getting back into the society from war is always with those side effects where you need to again remember to drive. You're
not allowed to just drive across a field because you didn't want to wait at the corner or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like you're not like parking in the middle of the street no longer acceptable, you know. I mean, I generally don't do that, you know, but like if I need to, I fucking will.
I think one more thing is the jammers. Electronic warfare is the fourth thing, right?
Oh yeah, jamming. I suppose that goes with drone-related equipment. But yeah, jammers are important. Totally. We haven't got one, so you know. For my
do you have a detector?
Well, that's all. Our battalion does. Like our anti-drone boys have stuff that finds enemy drones, and they have stuff that shoots down enemy drones, and that's as much as I fucking know. Basically, I don't work with them, and their positions are like drone positions. It's like you can just pop into an infantry position and say hello. Takes, you know, if it's not a shooty day, like take take some biscuits to the lads, drop an ice. I buy ice cream for some of the infantry positions all the time because they've got to stand there in the hot fucking sun all day, and I'm like zipping around town doing whatever my officer or sergeants told me to do that's drone related, and I'll buy ice cream for them. But you can't do that on anti-drone or drone positions. You can't just pop in because they're meant to be secret. So
Nah,
you know.
I mean the detectors, the beepers, the small ones, the personal ones that
No,
you just you
they're
don't
a
have.
thing, are they? Oh, that'd be nice. Someone wants
Yeah.
to send me some. You know, someone wants to send us one. That'd be nice. Are they cheap? Because some
Yeah,
of the drone
yeah,
jammers are like sort of between 2 to 3 to 6 grand if it does multi-frequency.
yeah,
You
but
know, they're expensive.
those detectors, there are some cheap models. Like there's a Ukrainian one called Tsukorok, which is sugar, you know, and it's something like below 1,000, I think, bucks. Even no, below $500, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even below 300, but I won't be that sure. But it detects pretty much everything. Madjar, you probably know the guy, right? He was.
Yeah, well, I've not met them, but we have worked together a little bit. In a sharing information about where Russians be. We have worked together some.
I think he recommended that one. No, he said like, come on, I use that one and it works for everything. Maybe I'm mistaking him for someone else. Ah, yeah, I'm mistaking him for another Ukrainian soldier. Well, not a soldier. I think he's an officer. But anyway, he said that he uses that and it's pretty efficient and it's pretty cheap. So I will try to get one myself because I'm gonna go to the front line on Sunday, I think, or on Monday, guys. So yeah, here's an announcement. There might not be a Sunday stream this week because Greg Terry told me it's probably going to be Sunday, but I asked him, Greg, is it a chance to move it to Monday? He says, okay, we'll see, because first we need to do Pete's memorial service and then we'll figure out when we're starting for East and South too, because they do all of it. But no, this is going to be a 4-day run, so probably no Kherson this time. I just don't know. He doesn't know himself. But if we're going to be close to Kherson, I would love to meet you.
Unless something big happens, or bigger happens, like today was a pretty kinetic day. I generally speaking am allowed permission to go to Mykolaiv or something. If it's you and Greg, I could even ask the boss if they'll let you in. But you know, that's between gods and generals, all that sort of stuff, you know. But yeah, it's one of them. Like Kherson can be oddly quiet some days, but that's probably, to me, like there's always like 100 explosions and then it can really step up, you know. It can step up. It can be like, it's weird. It can be like once the leaves came out on the trees and you can't see as much of the surrounding damage, you sat at some cafe and you're like, I could be on fucking holiday right now. I'm here having a pizza, you know. I mean, I've gone for lunch at a cafe with another soldier. We're having a pizza, drinking espressos. This is nice. There's even a pretty girl in a dress just walked by, and you don't see many of them in Kherson, so it's like a big deal, you know. All the good-looking women have sensibly left, you know. But yeah, and then a fucking fab will slam into the middle of the city, like 500 meters away, you know, and it's all back to real. But yeah, maybe since it's you and Greg, they'll let you in. I can ask. If not, I'll do my best to come and meet you in Mykolaiv.
Okay, awesome. I just need to know where we're gonna be, and I think it's gonna be the same day we're gonna be there, not earlier than that. So I will just message you someday, and we'll see if it's possible to get something arranged. You know, a meeting. I mean, or just yeah. So we'll see. But guys, First, I want to say that I need to pay attention. I mean, I'm paying attention to the chat, but conversation with Joe is so interesting that I just cannot help but keep talking to him and not asking any questions.
Yeah, feel free to do your thing for a sec. I'll find another prop. Got to be careful. So this is another prop, like Brandon's friend from the Hospitaliers checker. That's a little gift that's going down range. But normally we electronic detonate things, like you see the wires at the front of the FPV. That's the VOG nose cone. So it's live. There's 2 kilograms of plastic explosive in there. And we take all of the safety elements out of the VOG nose cone. So
I wonder...
even more detonatable.
I wonder if this stream is gonna be banned by YouTube by you showing this.
Really gently put that back down.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan, for 20 gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Thank you also. Come on, where is it? Where's the notification? Yeah, here it is. Cole Nelson, thank you for becoming a Javelin here on YouTube, guys. I remind you, those who will become a member on Buy Me a Coffee will get one of these patches, either Rick the Ukrainian or Abrams. So think about becoming a member on my Buy Me a Coffee. It's in the description of the stream. And I've added Big Max, this site, Big Max, Buy Me a Coffee there to the description of the stream. Please become a member on his Buy Me a Coffee. Oh, we lost him. Just suddenly. He's gonna get back. Connection problem. The 2 kilowatt Echo Flows are currently on sale, Rick. I already paid for mine 2 weeks ago. Welcome back, man. So he's Buy Me a Coffee is in the description, and you gotta get more tiers there because it's only $20 tier. What if people want to support you with bigger sums of money monthly? Give them a chance. Okay?
What, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah. No, if people want to do, I have got Buy Me a Coffee to work now. I don't know. PayPal's simple. There is PayPal and there's PayPal. That's it. And Buy Me a Coffee works through other money transfer services. The one that I had to use was called Payoneer.
I use it too. Yeah.
They're one of these like companies where there's probably some humans who own the company, and there's probably a dude who cleans, and everything else is just an AI, and that's it. So you're just banging your head against a wall basically with it, and they didn't want to. It was just annoying because there is a logistical lag with getting things to Ukraine. For instance, I've recently been trying to get some components for work-related purposes, and the logistical lag of getting them from Europe past Ukrainian customs and all of that is now like about 4 to 5 weeks. The 3D prints that come from Europe have slowed down. So when the people won't give you your money, it can be pretty frustrating, So it's not working. You cannot withdraw money on Payoneer? No, it worked eventually. It was just hyper frustrating, and a lot of this was still a little bit TBI affected at the time, which made everything worse. I'm not good at bureaucracy. Like I find going to the bank to deal with paperwork or bureaucracy of any sort literally more stressful than being mortared a bit in a trench. Literally. Like there's no comparison to it.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. Did you ever hear like a bit of a folk tale about the Second World War in Ukraine, that there were some soldiers and they needed food, so they went to this house and they traded what they had, and one of the things they traded was soap, but it was actually explosives.
When is
there's a bar of 1947 vintage original plastique from literally from
hide
Stalin's days, and it's just Like this boat feels this boat feels strange, you
A
know.
little hot, you know.
Yeah, we had a bunch of odd old stuff turn up. I remember when Wagner took that salt mine and it had a load of like Thompsons and stuff in from the Second World War, but in like perfect condition because it's a salt mine. I guess Ukraine has other salt mines because we had a load of 1949 vintage RG-42 grenades turn up. You know, like actual sack, but they're in perfect condition, like the museum pieces. You know, we're still going to drop them from drones, but it's like as someone who likes history, it's like, oh wow, you know,
Yeah.
even they've got them in the Imperial War Museum in England, but they're all rusty and shit. You know, they're all old looking. These are like fresh. You know,
Wow, what the
so
fuck?
it's kind of, you know, almost tempted to deactivate one, but of course you can't do that sort of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah, also wanted to mention the member about half an hour ago. Just give me a second who that was. Anthony Norton. Okay, keep rolling. A little something here. Awesome streams. Info to follow on Gmail. Thank you. Yeah, I've noticed your message there on email. Thank you. Next thing to mention is, guys, that we are actually raffling this patch. You 100% know who that patch wears, right, Mac?
I've been given one of them after some work we did.
Yeah.
That's the one branch of Ukraine's special forces, GER.
Good. Yeah.
Budanov boys. I do like Budanov. I hope his wife's okay.
Well, we never heard about her health after that happened, right?
But I imagine she's receiving the best care possible, and it's just, you know, there's so many tragedies in this war, but going after the wife is just, you know, like that's just dirty. That is, you know. For some reason that bothered me, and I like Budanov. I think he's done an excellent job during this war. You know, I mean, it's
Yeah. So he runs this organization, guys. You have a chance to get this patch to win it. Of course, one ticket is $10. The more tickets you buy, the more chances you'll get. But there are many examples here in our raffles where people are winning with just one ticket. So yeah, that can happen too. $10 for it. I think we're gonna actually do the raffle in a week and a half. So it's gonna be. Let me check the date. Not this Sunday, but the next one. It's gonna be 14th of. Oh my God! It's already July. Crazy. So you'll get a chance by buying the tickets. Thank you for buying tickets. I need to mention the donations I received for tickets. Give me a second. Here it is. After Silver Earth, there was Lynn S, $20. Raffle tickets, please. You have yourself 2 tickets. Then Katie S, $20. Also 2 tickets. Raffle, I donate to Pete directly and also to Mac. You should concentrate your own, guys. They depend on you. Thank you. On your own, guys. Not concentrate them. Concentrate on them. Yeah, so I've been telling this today to rollers that... Oh, by the way, guys, don't forget to like the stream. Thank you. This helps with engagement and brings in even some trolls. And it's good to have them here because that means that we're getting out there. And
I love my Vatnik and pro-Russian listeners. They get an outro every single episode. But yeah, you know, keep boosting me in the algorithm, boys. You know.
And Tana sent $10. Tana Otterson, she's by the way currently in Ukraine. Your fan, Mac. Yeah, but that's I don't.
Nice.
What?
That's nice. Hello.
Yeah. Hey Tana. So she sent $10. Jammer for Joe. So I'm gonna send you these $10, Joe.
All right. Cool. Well, you know, we could maybe we can put them aside. I'm not sure what your queue of appeals is. We did mention it last time, but things, fell by the wayside. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. I suppose, with now our units focus more on drones, like saving up for something or getting part of the money for something like a Matrice thermal would be good, because one of the things I mentioned recently is we got sent one 10-inch bomber, and our drone pilot, who's good, was practicing with it, and he's like, I can definitely hit a house with this, and these things can carry like 4 kilos, 20 kilometers. So 4 kilos of plastic will do serious damage to any house, right? You don't need to be precise and get the window. You just need to hit the wall. And if there's someone on the other side of the wall, it's bad times for them. So, and then he was like, we should get a thermal for this. And I'm like, yeah, bang, we've got the money. Let's get a thermal one. And we tried that out, and it's still very accurate to bomb at night. And then I was like, I just got this in my head, like, this is a whole new weapon set. So I put a bunch of money in. I spoke to some of our private donators, and now we've got like nearly 20. And that's, even if we lose one, even if we crash it badly, we can just do mission after mission. And, up to 12 kilometers, we can drop a bomb and come back. If it's a high value target, we'll go out further and lose the drone. But it's okay, but it gives us way more of a right arm to fight with than we had at night before. Before we had Mavic, we had things like Mavic thermals and guys with thermal scopes who are overlooking the area. They're on radios and phones directed in mortars. You can't really fly the FPVs at night. Like if it's a full moon night, maybe you could get away with it, but pretty much not.
But thermal FPVs.
But now we've got thermal FPVs, 10-inch bomber thermal FPVs that can carry big bombs a long way and come back. So that gives us a whole other right arm. And that's something I put together with the help of my donators and some private, like a really generous private donator we've got to our unit, an American guy, I have to say. I've never forgiven the Americans for wasting the tea. Stealing it would have been better. But, yeah, they have been all the staunchest help. Most of my donators and the staunchest volunteers who are willing to put their hand in the pocket I've met have been from America. Although people from many, many nations are helping Ukraine, Oh yeah, so that's great. I've got one here actually to add to the props. Don't have a bomb, but yeah, it's a big one. That's the thermal at the front, and it can carry the size of bomb or bigger that I was holding before. But these are 3D prints that I got designed that will take about just over a kilo of PE, and they've got they're really strong, so they don't get cracked, they don't break. Even if they hit the ground, they don't break. They blow up, but they break when they're meant to break, which is when they detonate. So having that.
Actually, Disade asks there in the chat, ask Joe, if you guys meet, what are the chances of a small explosion happening on stream? He likes booms.
They don't let you take your tools when you go away from work on holiday. But I do often have explosives in the car because it's part of my job. So like if Rick got in my car, it would be a very firm. When I say don't touch anything in my car, I fucking mean it. Like there are things in my car that you shouldn't reach into. Oh, what's that? Looks like a little component to you. It's actually like a deck cap or something like that. What's this string? It's like, trill rope. It doesn't like sharp knocks. But yeah, all these things are safe until you do the wrong thing with them.
Exactly. So I wanted to say what? Am I showing you? Yeah, I'm showing you the settings of the stream. I've added first of all, buy me a coffee. Big Mac's buy me a coffee, but also I wanted to mention here. To look something up. I added the handle, Max handle to the name of the stream. So update the page. I see a lot of people in the chat are saying, I will check your channel out. So a lot of you don't know who Joe is. So go just follow the handle.
Right, please do. I appreciate it. I have to sort of caveat it. I don't want to disappoint everyone. It's not probably as exciting, and it's definitely not as well produced as Civ Div, for instance. And because I'm a drone pilot and I work with explosives, literally fucking nowhere I work can ever be filmed. You know, I can get away with taking a photo of something on a desk. That's about it, you know, with an anonymous coloured wall behind it, you know. Fortunately, the Soviets only used like 3 or 4 shades of paint, so it's fairly easy. But yeah, there's one interesting video where I'm in a trench getting shelled and talking about it. But you know, all you can see is a tire and a bit of earth. So that was
like your videos, your regular videos, where you just talk on camera for 10 minutes. You always provide some valuable inside information, and yeah, so thank you for that. And guys, you can find that on Mac's channel. Go there and subscribe, of course. What else? I wanted to ask, to redirect a question from Sally Luz. Could you please ask Joe if we can see his dog, One Sock?
Come here. Come on. He's fucking knackered. It's hot at the moment. Come on. Look, let me trick you with the possibility of food. Look, this is a thing in my hand. Could be food. They've timed it back. Like, I know Sally from the comments, and she is a staunch and long-time supporter of mine. But my flatmate's just come back. You know, come over here. Come here, boy. Come on, what's this? Come here, you bastard. That's his full title, is One Sock, You Bastard. Yeah, he's fucking massive now. He's like 22 kilos. But this is how I picked him up when I first had him. So he always likes this. But yeah, he's got a passport now. I'm a little bit disappointed that it doesn't require a photo of the dog in it. So I'm going to risk getting like a very stern and bureaucratic telling off from a border guard or customs agent at some point, and I'm going to put a page of One Sock photos of it, but with him in different military uniform, because everyone's a little bit gay deep inside them, you know. So yeah, One Sock as Napoleon or the Iron Duke appeals to me. So he's happy as, you know, he's a happy boy. Gets fed fresh meat, fancy kibble. Come on, down you go.
Why One Sock?
Because he's got one white sock. And when I first picked him up, this babushka handed him to me, and there was these other dogs that were very clearly like trying to get him, barking and growling around. And she handed him to me and said, I said in Ukrainian, like, I guess this is your dog now, or is this your dog? And I'm like, fuck's sake. I said pizdets, you know, pizdets, and like, yeah, all right. I came here to help Ukrainians, and abandoning a puppy on the street is not part of that mission statement. You know what I mean? Like, I'm honor bound to do this now. And then I looked at him, and it's like, look at you with your One Sock on, wandering around the streets, and that was it. Like, One Sock, you know.
Nice.
So
he's adorable.
Yeah, he keeps me happy. He makes me laugh several times a day. You know, I had to leave him today to go on like a Deliveroo munitions delivery, and you know, he came back after half an hour, and it's just like the overwhelming joy that I've come back, and it's like, yeah, that keeps me sane. You know, so yeah, everything's good with the dog.
That's good. Thank you for showing him. He's adorable, and people love him.
He's hot. He just wants to lie on the floor and pants, which is what he's doing right now.
Well, it's hot today in Ukraine, so.
Hot in Kherson. I'm not sure about the rest of Ukraine, but I imagine, yeah, everywhere it's hot in Kherson. We British aren't built for this sort of thing, you know.
It's hot here today too. Too hot in Kyiv.
Yeah, I really like Kherson. I really like the spring in Kherson is lovely, right? Because the nice thing about even this far south in Kurdistan, you've got essentially what I'd call like Turkish grade heat. But this is not palm tree and scrubland. This is still oak tree and ash and sycamore and walnut land. It's still hardwood European trees, which I like, you know. But then last night I came into my room and there's just like fucking loads of bugs the size of your thumb, like massive insects all over my room. That I've got no windows because the Russians blew up our windows in January, like most people, and the landlord hasn't fixed them, you know. And I had to cut, I had to cut some of the plastic sheeting away because it just turned my room into like a sauna. So there was a bit of breeze, and now, once a week I just get taken over by like moths the size of my fist, and you know, the minute you turn the light off, they just fly into your face all night. But like, I'm a soldier. I've dealt with worse conditions, you know.
Yeah, actually, Actually, I want to ask you some questions from. Let's see if we have them saved in. In the Discord server, because we have a section there that says live stream questions. Yeah. What is his pet mine's name?
Dog's name? One sock. Odin Hosok.
No. Pet mines. So you have mines. You have pet mines there, no?
My pet anti-tank mine. Mr. Bangy, I suppose. You know,
you just made it up.
Again, you know, it's like when you're in the infantry, all this stuff is just like, don't touch it unless express permission. And now it's as a sapper, it's like, I have an anti-tank mine. Just, you know, we might need you to have one to hand one day. It's good that we've got a few scattered around, you know, familiarize yourself with it, do some reading. I'm like, okay, cool, you know. So yeah, the how much danger is in my room has gone up dramatically since then. I'm fucked if a shell hits it. You know what I mean? Like there's no like losing a limb then. There'll just be a
you know, at least you won't be suffering.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any like, oh God, mother moment, you know what I mean? It'd just be like, wake up in heaven or hell or nothing. And oh fuck. Oh well, you know, at least there's no taxes anymore.
Zonky FH says, Mr. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Boom. You know. Yeah, I do have the means to like wire it up to the door if that day ever came, but like that isn't something I have set up ready to go like a crazy person. You know? It just lives in a nice safe box under my bed, so the dog can't get to it. Yeah, that's one of the other things. I have to be really careful at work because like everything we work with toxic. Like TNT is toxic. Plastic explosive is toxic, so making sure the dog doesn't just eat something, you know, because he's at that stage where he'll like to the stone, and occasionally another dog shit. Although I think I've like ear pinched that out of him now. You know, I definitely don't abuse my dog. I just do what other dogs would do. It's when he's been told 5 times and he's still doing it. Fucking stop eating shit, you little bastard. But you know, he's getting there. For 6 months old, he's very well trained, and all the guys at work love him. You know, comes to work with me every day. Obviously, we're not storming trenches, you know, but like he still goes to active positions. Decent little artillery radar. It's always good to have.
How is he reacting on the shelling? And
I think he was born to it. He was born to it, so he just, if it's close, he listens to the booms when it comes in, but like he won't get up and look nervous unless he's heard it's one coming in our direction, because he seems to be able to. Like, I can differentiate between a gun that's aimed at me and a gun that's aimed so many degrees away. Like you get used to it after all. Obviously, there are days where you can't because of wind and stuff, but you get really tuned in. But he's a dog, so he's got tuned into it quicker. And I suppose he watches me, you know. If it sounds like it's coming at you and you start to hear that, it's like, oh God, you know, then he moves, you know, but he doesn't panic. He generally just goes between my legs or runs off to a corner and hides there, you know, which is fine. I don't mind if he's not between my legs as long as he's trying to get as much cover as possible. So yeah, he's honestly, in all my time I've spent with him, he is less nervous around shelling than some foreign volunteers who've turned up here. So yeah, he's a proper Ukrainian dog. And once again, I encourage people, if there's a way you can adopt a Ukrainian dog and you want a dog, you should do, because what you get is a dog that will not give a fuck about fireworks night. Like it totally won't care at all. November the 5th, Thanksgiving, it won't give a shit. It'll be chill. You know what I mean? Just like, they're not even, it's not even proper artillery, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have something to drink. so many little pops, you know, nothing to worry about that.
Paul D, thank you for the super chat, 10 Great Britain pounds.
Yeah, thank you.
It says, if you're still interested in SEPR course, Ukraine EOD, I think, Harley, is arranging one in Kyiv at the end of the month.
Yeah, I'm hopefully going to be on that, or one that's immediately after it or something. Shit, you know, fucking guess I'll have to be now. I've told people where I'm going to be at what time. Bollocks. Yeah, I'm not always perfect at OPSEC, but Harley's a friend of mine. We speak regular. So yeah, I'm going to be on that, and yeah, I'm proud to call Harley a friend of mine. He's a very brave and very competent man. You know, there's two kinds of bravery. There's hot courage and cold courage, and hot courage is the obvious one where you go and storm the trench. You know, but you need a lot of cold courage to spend a day gardening in a field full of high explosive devices. You know, and it's not easy work. Like digging on your knees in the hot Ukrainian sun is not fucking easy work. And Harley's done a lot of it. You know, I don't know how many landmines he's personally removed, but I'd guess hundreds or even thousands. You know,
he's been here.
His team, tens of thousands. You know, and he knows his stuff. Like I'm a well instructed amateur. Harley's an expert, so I'll be proud to learn under him. And apparently there's some other fairly cool or fairly notable foreign volunteers there, but I don't want to say the names because I haven't actually spoke to them or have the permission for that yet. But there's some cool dudes there. Sadly, I mentioned this to my officer, two of my officers who are both really good guys, really clever, young. This is the future of Ukrainian officers, you know, proud to know them, proud that they like the work I do. Friend of mine's doing this SAPA course in Kyiv and he's a British instructor, and look, he's done all this, like he knows the job. He's not some random foreigner with a civilian demining certificate, and there's been a bit of that in Ukraine, you know. And they're like, yeah, that sounds good, but we've got to pass it up the food chain. And next thing, some much higher up officer has just gone on fucking Monday, and I've got 2 days off to go to Mykolaiv and do some media and speaking to NGO people stuff. You know, like I'm on an official 2 days off that got cut short so I could drive back to Kherson, pack my shit, get my paperwork, go to Mykolaiv, only to find out that there's not even like one translator, not even one. Not one instructor speaks, like not even a little bit of English, you know, like fuck all, basically. So I'm like, right. See, that's the thing, soldiers aren't allowed to have good, sensible ideas. Only those of the rank of major and above are allowed to think. And that was the problem we ran into there. But hey ho, it's the army. It's not meant to be fun. So yeah. But hopefully in a few weeks, I'll be able to stop. I'll be able to have a bit of paper that says I can handle the really dangerous things I handle already, and a lot more knowledge to do my job more properly. You know, so I just try and not kill myself between now and then.
Okay, that's you. You keep doing that, okay? Don't get yourself killed. So I have news to share. Actually, people reminded me in the chat. Duncan Stewart said Rick is a registered Ukrainian volunteer worker. Yeah, I actually last month I made my work official. By the way, I'm full-time, as we call it, full-time YouTuber since 1st of April.
That's good to know. I didn't know that Ukraine had a scheme of this.
We actually, yeah, like I'm just setting up like a journalist work as the private entrepreneur, as we call it FOP in here. Have you heard the word?
No.
FOP? Okay, FOP is фізична особа підприємець. You gotta learn some Ukrainian already. So now, like this YouTube work, I'm paying taxes from YouTube paying me, paying 5% taxes, and I'm paying taxes from the money from Payoneer too now, 5% too. And it's the monthly tax around $50 here in Ukraine, which is called like a general ЄСВ, єдиний соціальний внесок, general social contribution it is called. So each entrepreneur pays around $50 of that tax and 5% of all my income. That's what I do now. As for the donations money, I don't have to pay taxes from those because we have the list of officially registered volunteers, but that list is not public, unfortunately. But you can actually apply for that, and just in one day you can become an official volunteer, and you just need to once a year you just need to report about all the donations that went through your account. You gotta create the new account and only get money. You can use of course your old account, but I think better to separate it. So I created a new account. Yeah, and I now do it through that and gonna be reporting on all my fundraising to our tax service. So, yeah, it's all serious now. It's all official, with of course some risks because some say they are assholes, the tax service, and they will don't. But I think during the war they're not going to be choking us volunteers. They will come after us after the, let's hope, victory.
Well, I just think the fact that there's an official volunteer service is a thing. Like, I mean, it's one of these things that you kind of don't, like I mentioned, there's the thing with the ambulance men and the mobilization guys and the dress of like ambulance dudes are already helping the military in their country. You know what I mean? Like, and some of the people we know who work in the civilian part of the drone production and drone development and drone training world, some of them were getting pretty nervous because if you get a Ukrainian soldier like me or the guys I work with who's part of the mobilization gang, they said, what are you doing? Like, oh, right, you've got all these photos on your phone that you're showing me and you're making drones for the army. Here's a bit of paper. You get a pass, get the fuck out of it. If you get some knuckle-dragging old Soviet who doesn't even like drones because they're not proper soldiers, it might be quite some fucking time before you get yourself in front of a Ukrainian soldier who's actually like, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not going for the assault infantry. Get out. Do you want some money? You know what I mean? Like we really like any soldier with a brain thinks FPVs on our side at least are fucking brilliant, But who's doing the mobilizing and how much are they valuing what this particular civilian is giving to Ukraine? Is it like, is it Rick the Ukrainian? Is he like a massive voice for Ukraine that raises loads of money for individual units all the time? You get a fucking pass. The guy making lattes in fucking Lviv can go fuck himself and pick up a rifle. I'm concerned, you know what I mean?
But unfortunately, I think about 50% of those conscription servicemen, they don't give a fuck because they are Soviet style, and they see a body, so this body can be used, to storm or to just sit under the shelling or
But I
the
am
glide
nuclear
bombs.
scientists. Here is AK-47.
Yeah.
Straight to backwards. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, and I mean, like it's a huge war, a huge army, a huge country. Things ain't perfect. They're taking steps in the right direction, but they're far from fucking perfect. And I'm of the opinion that like propaganda's great to a point, but unless you actually talk about the actual fucking problems that the army's got and that Ukraine's got, then they won't get fucking fixed, right? And it allows a situation where the people who are doing this stuff that's contrary to the common good and victory to maintain power and to maintain the belief or the social conditions or the legal conditions that those things can be done. And it's like it's this war should be, when we win, like the next war really should be that all the young guys who've fought in this war and helped with volunteering and which is part of logistics, which is just as important as actually doing the fighting, it really is, like that they should be the ones to be running the new Ukraine. That's why I'm still here. It's not, I originally came just to like fight Putin, and it seemed like a really very black and white war to me, and my country had never provided that sort of morally right opportunity to be a soldier. But now I'm in it for building a new Ukraine, 100%, and letting that Ukraine be a country that's fit for heroes, as it should be, because it's a country full of heroes. So, that's what it is for me. And to do that, you need to fix things and make things better. You need to identify problems and work out ways to stop that thing being a problem.
Yeah. Let's hope we'll manage to do that. We have here Slava Ukraini from Serbia, from Lazar. That's cool.
Royam Slava.
Royam Slava, happy to see you here. We would always love to see some people from here who really support Ukraine, from Hungary, Serbia, what country? Austria, right? Who else do we have there? China.
Austria's. I've got I think I've had some Austrians. I don't know if I've any Serbs. I've definitely had Hungarians who've even donated. I've got some followers from some. I've got one from Puerto Rico. Got a follower from Puerto Rico who's got a Ukrainian flag over the Puerto Rican flag, which as a little YouTube. So that's cool. I think there are some countries and some people who don't support Ukraine, but you've got definitely more than 60% of the world on your side.
Well, if we take numbers, then no, because China has their population is too big. If we statistically, we don't have countries, about 60%.
Some countries are like a town in England, So
who else would we love to see here? Brazil. You guys definitely support Ukraine, and I'm sure many of you do.
Many Brazilian guys came to fight. Some of them were my friends. Some of them have died fighting for this country. Like, man, a lot of Colombians. Like, I've got to say, the Colombians who I've worked with, have been really good soldiers. I sort of see them how Britain would have been in like the 60s or 70s, or the Americans would have been. Like, they don't expect no fucking MRE. They'll go to position with like a can of meat and some flour and some salt, And then when you cut a pole and hang all the stuff off this pole and then go and sleep in the mud and not fucking complain about it at all.
Once again, who are you talking about?
Modern British soldiers, well, they might do it, but they're going to bitch about it. You know what I mean? They go, fucking hell, they sent us down here to this shithole. Colombian will be like, of course they sent us to a shithole. It's the army. What do you expect? So yeah, I think the Colombians are one of the. I guess the country itself hasn't provided much help that I've seen in the media, but a lot of really good guys have come and fought for Ukraine,
That's
and
cool.
done solid work. You know, what the politics are behind it, who fucking cares? I don't care. As long as they, whether they're in it for the combat pay or they're in it for Ukraine, as long as you come and you do your goddamn job, you're an asset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, plenty of guys from the West have come to Ukraine for all the spoken honourable reasons, and then you've handed them a shovel. And they're like, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit above that sort of thing. Like, take that fucking fighting position. But yeah, that was a meme for a while, But yeah, hail to the Colombians, I say. Good boys.
I want to thank, they exist for 549 super chat bucks, super chat, specific special contribution and ice cream for Rick. Thank you. Just because it's super hot in here, right? Sally Luz, thank you very much for 10 bucks, super chat. Dear Joe, do you have any advice for non-military people going to the front for the first time, like Rick? Love both of you guys. Thank you for your work, Ukraine, and for telling us what's going on. Thank you, Sally. Joe, any advices for me as a civilian going to the front line?
Have you got more armor than just a little plate carrier that barely covers your chest? Have you got some ballistic stuff, like to cover your stomach and your groin and your lower spine? My body armor's in the car. I'd have another useful prop. But yeah, I'm at the start of the war, all the foreigners were wearing these little tiny ballistic things, right? And then like people got to the front. Funny enough, British Ospreys and the American stuff that's got the shoulder pads and the neck protector, that shit started to become popular, because it turns out a lot of the job is go to trench, be shelled. If Russians come, shoot them. Do not fucking run away. So being a high-speed low drag operator became, less important than not dying from fucking shrapnel, and having more blast protection. So yeah, and now all this new Ukrainian armor, a lot of it's becoming this hybrid, like it's like an Osprey, it's got Kevlar, but it's a bit sleeker. So yeah, there's very little chance, especially if you're a civilian visiting the front, that someone's actually going to shoot at you with a gun. But there is a pretty fucking big chance that something might explode near you, and shrapnel and blast are your problem. And that's why Kevlar and ultra high molecular weight polyurethane, which is the white plastic stuff, these are your friend, basically. These are your friend. And have plenty of tourniquets and Israelis and gauze. They only seem to give you 2 gauzes in an IFAC. I think you need more than that, because I know guys who've got 10 holes in them from a mortar, and then everyone had to use their IFACs to fucking pack them up, and they were fine. But their own, if their mates hadn't gone, fuck it, we're gonna have to use our gauze, they would have been fucked, So yeah, have more than 2 gauzes, have 2 Israelis, have 4 tourniquets. If you need to use all 4, you're probably dead anyway, but at least you have them. If you've got a friendly doctor or chemist,
if you're gonna use all 4 tourniquets on yourself, then you cannot actually use all 4 tourniquets on yourself, because
you might need 2 on a thigh.
Yeah.
You might need 2 on a thigh for a femoral, or a groin brace. But if you get hit in the groin, again, if you get hit, like one of my friends who was killed early on in the Legion, German, when they first got to the front in the Donetsk River, like Charlie Company had only been there a couple of days, and this really fucking nice German guy whose call sign was Panzer was taking a shower, and I don't know whether it was arty or a big mortar. People weren't tuned in at that point, so I heard both. But something big exploded near the outdoor, like wooden shower type deal that you get in Ukrainian country cottages, and he took shrapnel in the groin, and there's just nothing you can fucking do. There's nothing you can do. They're going to bleed out, and I mean, in a way, it was lucky because he got hit in the head too. So, yeah, there's a whole other story about that, but I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, the medic who dealt with him, I'll see you one day, mate. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, 4 tourniquets. 4 tourniquets, 2 Israelis, at least 2 Israelis, bleed stop powder, gauze. If you can get access to some like actual painkillers, it's nice to have. Like we have lidocaine, or we did have lidocaine. It seems like it's gone off in the sun. It's gone all weird coloured, and I probably wouldn't use it now. But yeah, painkillers that will just give you enough to get to the car or the boat are nice to have. But I don't know what the civilian access to them is like in Ukraine, you know. But yeah, make sure your IFAC's on point. Make sure that you can I mean, like everyone's put on a tourniquet by now, but can you do it like lying down on your side, sitting on the ground, sitting in a car, standing up to all your limbs? Practice that.
Yeah,
you know? Because it's easy just standing there and going and doing it when everyone stood up in a group. But if you're like on your side and you've like trapped one of your legs under something, suddenly it becomes a bit more difficult, and that's the sort of situation you'll probably be in if you get blown the fuck up. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%. Try to do it in the car. Actually,
do it in the car.
That's what I'm gonna do.
That's
what I'm gonna do these days before going there. Actually, because I have some tourniquets, like the fake ones, just to practice. You know. So no. Just to practice. I use them to practice. I have cat tourniquet in my med kit, yeah, and I'll get another cat tourniquet before I go there to have at least 2 of them.
There is I haven't got one to hand because I've left my fucking body armor in the car, but there's these ones that have got like a ratchet strap. So when you pull it tight, you'll hear a click, and then it's pretty much that will cut off the blood.
The soft tourniquet has that, if I'm not mistaken, or is it
soft? That's the brand, isn't it? Soft. Yeah, they're the best ones, definitely. They're the best quality ones. That ratchet is, you know, you've got to remember that you might be putting on a tourniquet, right, with a fucking mangled hand or a fucked up face, and you're having to do it with your teeth. Yeah, like wounds, isolated wounds are not. It's you don't just. You tend to get, if it's a bomb, you're probably going to have a few things going on, you know, as well as just feeling like, you know, possibly feeling like your hand is now like very burned and there's also a hole in it and you're missing a finger. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Probably, if your second hand is in the same conditions, you won't be able to put any tourniquet anywhere, so you can only rely.
How fucked up. Like if you've been hit, the adrenaline should deal with the pain for like the first X amount of seconds or minutes, right? Like you won't actually, if you've just been blown the fuck up, the fact you've lost a couple of fingers will just like sting at the time. It's going to hurt really soon, you know, but at the time. So, yeah, you can still put on a tourniquet with like 2 fingers blown off your hand. It's just, you know, it's good to be psychologically prepared for that be the situation that you're in. You know, it's so rarely will be one nice little neat bullet hole, you know. That isn't the real reality of the situation. The reality is the situation is if you get wounded, you probably got pretty fucking mangled up. Plus the blast has just punched you in the head like Mike Tyson. So, you know, try and do anything once you've just been hit in the head really fucking hard. You know what I mean? That's a factor in it as well. So, yeah, I don't feel people practice TCCC enough, you know. It should be something that is drilled into you as much or more than how you operate your weapon.
Yeah, let me practice it right now. I'm gonna take off the earbuds. Yeah, so I won't hear you. I'll put one real quick. Probably embarrass myself, but I don't care. I need to practice. So
Practice makes perfect.
let me do it. So on 1, 2, 3. Yeah, here's the problem. I cannot help. I should not help myself with the hand there.
You don't need to go all the way. It's all right. You've done it.
Just
That was
need
under,
Put it.
that was
in.
under,
Yeah,
under,
nice.
under 20
This
seconds
turn
rest.
works. So this, then this, and getting it back in. Like this.
Bollocks. Put out a cigarette.
No, probably this one should go here. Yeah, and time. I don't know how much time I spent on this one,
It was
but feels like more than 40 seconds. I should have put up the timer. Anyone put up the timer, guys? So I gotta check my pulse. I can hear you now, Mac.
I think it was about 20 seconds until it was sufficiently tight. You know, so I think, yeah, he would have lived, even if that was a total severed limb. So yeah, but
it's gonna be much longer to put it in real combat or shell-in situation, because I'm not gonna be that conscious, you know.
Well, yeah, that's I suppose the only way you could simulate it really happening is if, like, you were in a car and you were driving, and then someone set off a firework inside the car and punched you in the head really hard at the same time. You know, and then I'll put on your tourniquet. That would be a semblance of realism, but yeah, you can't do that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I remember how to do it still, so that's good. I went through this medical training just 2 times. I want to do it every 2 months, but I actually skipped last month. I should have been there on in the beginning of June this time, but for some reason, as always.
One of the things that I guess has affected me in the military is like, I feel pretty naked without some tac med on me. Like, even if I'm in Mykolaiv or whatever, I'll take like a small IFAC with me that will at least be in my bag or on my belt, you know. And I think most Ukrainians, like, you know, I don't want to create a massive civilian drain on tac med, but you know, you can be walking down the street in Kyiv or Odessa and suddenly you get missiled. And I would feel so fucking powerless and naked. Like, even as a trained soldier, if I don't have some tourniquets and stuff on me, there is fuck all I can do to help someone who's bleeding out. Like, pretty much nothing, you know. If they've lost a limb, they're gone. Maybe if they've got a hole in them, I could improvise, but, you know, they're probably going to die of infection from me jamming a dirty T-shirt into the wound, you know. But
the only problem with my medkit, it's always in my backpack, so I will also have to first get it out of the backpack, and that might be a problem. So not really handy. Anyway, I have just one tourniquet here. That's the problem. I need to get the second one, and it's better be the soft tourniquet.
And I generally put in the little lower outside of your shin pockets that you get on combat trousers. I generally have one tourniquet there and one Israeli and a gauze that are thin packed gauze, because, you know, even in the combat zone, sometimes, like, you might get up and have to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, and because you're normally in some village in Ukraine somewhere, you'll generally put your trousers on so you don't scratch your legs on like a bush or nettles or whatever, you know. And then you've still got some basic IFAC if you suddenly get mortared while you're having a shit at 3 a.m. because the army capture was awful. You know, always have something, always have one gauze and an IFAC, even if you're just a civilian in Ukraine. At least, you know, if you're in Lviv, you probably don't need that. I'd still say everywhere that's east of Kyiv and Kyiv itself, most people should, you know, because, so like mass civilian attacks happen, you know, and I mean, Kharkiv, Kharkiv, I've got to stop saying Kharkiv with me Liverpool accent. Like my Google Translate says car keys every time I try to say Kharkiv.
Want to thank DK for $5 super chat. It says, I'm currently waiting for my passport before applying to join as a drone operator. What is the biggest in demand drone equipment in theater?
If you could come with your own Mavic that you've learned, Mavic 3,
better.
If you came with a Mavic 3 thermal, which is in the state, well, they've made a ban now, which is definitely going to affect us. I'm not sure how that's going to affect what was in Ukraine.
Did they already ban it?
Apparently so. I haven't really looked into the legalities, but if there's no more Mavics coming to Ukraine from America, that's going to hurt us.
Well, they're not coming. They're not coming from America anyway.
I mean, some of the flow of civilian provided donations, it comes from America. How much? I don't fucking know. You know. But yeah, if you learn to fly a Mavic, good. And if you could at least fly a mini FPV around the room and have a decent set of goggles and stuff like that. I would also say that while you are welcome, and I wouldn't discourage you from applying to the International Legion, if you want to join a unit in Ukraine, be fit, both mentally and physically, and get your ass to Ukraine. There's a variety of places you can go and sign up. A variety of units you can use. I would say your most important thing you should focus on, more than fitness, more than you know, shooting ability or how quick you can get dressed in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff, more than flying a drone, would be language skills. Because the fact I can't speak Ukrainian has been a big fucking hill for me to overcome. Unfortunately, some officers and sergeants have like noticed me and been like, Mac's a clever bloke and he works really hard. We should pay him more attention. But if you can't, like, if you come to England and or America and you're a nuclear physicist, but you're from Pakistan and you don't speak any English, your skills are fucking worthless. So if you're the best fucking soldier in the world, right? The best soldier in the whole world, like someone who could take out an entire Delta Force or SAS company on his own, but you can't speak any Ukrainian, how are you going to, you know, you're part of an army. Yeah, you're meant to, a lot of your job is communication, like reconnaissance. I've seen some videos of foreigners doing recon missions here, and it's like, you don't know the word for forward or back. How the fuck could you reconnaissance anything? How could you communicate to your Ukrainian commander what you've seen? And Google Translate did not work well in 22. It's got better because there's been more foreigners using it, you know, and it's the Google Translate overall AI has improved greatly. But yeah, language skills, at least being able to do the Cyrillic alphabet and 100 words of basic, you know, would be a really good start for anyone. Because otherwise, you know, you're basically, from a military point of view, you're like what the British used to have in India, like sepoys, you know? There'll be like one guy who speaks a bit of English who commands like 100 of these soldiers, and we just like, go over there, dig that trench, stand in it. Because that's all you can fucking do if you can't speak Ukrainian, really. It's been a long road for me to get where I am, where I can use my brain and my skills and effectively help an FPV team and the sappers do our job, which is going really well, you know, and we're smashing loads of Russians down here. It's great. I love seeing my bombs getting used. Probably makes me sound like a bit of a psycho, but, you know, well, they shouldn't have invaded, should they? all the Russians need to do for me to stop wanting to kill them is to simply go the fuck home. You know, maybe sort out their own country a little bit. Chance would be a fine thing, eh?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Another airfield in Ukraine being bombed by Russians, and we have a massive problem these days. I decided to go through the news, and guys, we don't learn on our mistakes, and it's been happening. Like, there was one airfield that was bombed 3 times last month, and our planes are still being standing there. No shelters for them. What fucking F-16 are they expecting here in Ukraine? Like, if they...
I mean, that one of the things I've been pondering is, if you have F-16s in Ukraine, and I heard a news report that the ones that are not actually being used...
Oh, we lost him. Yeah, guys, so that's a problem. We have a big problem with these days. Welcome back, Mac.
Yeah, so I was saying to make F-16s work in Ukraine has basically got to create, at the very least, refuel and service and rearm facilities, and ideally secure bunkers that can stand up to quite a bit of stuff. You know, like a direct hit from Iskander might be really fucking difficult, but, like, you know, they've got to be able to stand up to some punishment. Like every airfield you've had, every airfield, because the minute the Russians know the F-16s are at X location, they're going to hit that with the heaviest things they have.
Exactly. I think they're already doing this. They're already crushing F-16s.
And again, it's like there's well documented tech that means the F-16's signal, essentially a signal is put out, and this is meant to confound Russian radar detection and defense. It's meant to confound that, and it's meant to be able to make it think that there isn't a plane there, or it's a different sort of plane, or it's one of their planes, things of this nature. You know, again, I'm not giving away any military secrets. You can find this shit on TikTok, but I have read about it in more depth. If they come with that, then they're probably going to be quite useful. If they come with that and we have a lot of them, and, you know, we can, like, do the mission, and then, you know, maybe the ones that aren't on a mission right now get to go and live in Lviv, or they get to go and live in Poland or Romania somewhere, which has been discussed in the press. Like, they're going to be useful. If they don't have that tech package, it's like a horrible forlorn hope. You know, it's like sending 20 Challengers and 30 Abrams or whatever it was, and expecting them to actually make a breakthrough of any significance in the summer offensive. You know, what the fuck was that then, summer offensive, you know? I think one of the things people find hard to understand about Ukraine is just how vast and fucking flat it is. Like, there's not that much topography in a lot of Ukraine. You know, there's some small hills and stuff, but it's overall a very fucking flat place, which makes it awfully easy. It's broken up where you get like a 3 to 5 kilometer field. Sometimes it's smaller, but normally 3 by 5 kilometer field. And then there's a tree line that's like 10 meters wide, and then there's another 3 to 5 kilometer field. So absolutely everything is on the side of the defender. If you're trying to advance with armor and stuff, absolutely anything is. And how the West and the pressure that the West gave Ukraine to make the 23 counteroffensive with the, you know, we wouldn't use, I mean, I think they didn't take many tanks to Afghanistan, but like if we were invading a country like Iraq, that's definitely, you know, a not as tough country as Russia, the idea that we'd just take 50 tanks or 60 tanks is ridiculous, you know?
Yeah. That's all bullshit. It
doesn't matter whether it's an Abrams or a Challenger or a Leopard 2. If it runs over Mr. Boomy, you know,
Yeah.
Runs over that,
It is
it's
fucked.
fucked. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's not a little bit fucked, like fucked. It has to be towed off. And it's difficult to tow things off in a place where a tank was actually fighting because there's normally stuff waiting to destroy it, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, war difficult, losses expected. But yeah, sending Britain has given some very staunch help to Ukraine. Like when everyone was not saying, "Oh, should we give Ukraine long-range weapons?" Britain was like, "Have 100 Storm Shadows. Don't worry, we're making more." I was actually proud of my government at that point. Then I can't say I liked them much, but I was proud of them for that. But the 20 tanks when we've got like 500 or 600 just fucking sat there in a warehouse somewhere in England, you know.
This is
We
just
took,
no wish to let us to really lead us to victory, you know, not to lead us, but give us enough to get that victory. This is just no political will because they are fucking scared of Putin with his nuclear bombs. That's all the problem. This is why this ridiculousness is happening. These how do you call them? Dripping the military aid, or
yeah,
there's a term for it.
drip feeding the military aid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and there's things that seem awesome, but like they're not really. You know, like they'll say, "Oh, such countries sent 150 like decent quality, medium kind of range drones. Like it ain't a Predator drone, but it's kind of some equivalent to the Norlan or whatever. You know, go fairly far, see stuff from up high, quality camera system." It's like they'll just get shot down in a couple of weeks by a Russian missile. They will. They'll totally fire a missile at a lot. Like I know loads of units who have long range drones, and they lose long range drones on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
How like 150 drones don't go very far on an 800-kilometer front with some really hot spots, like really, really hot spots. You know, multiple really hot spots. So yeah. It's like the Gepard, right? It's cool. Everyone likes the idea of it. But you do realise that any sort of cannon-based anti-aircraft, the thing, be it a missile or plane, has pretty much got to go right over the top of the thing. So positioning your Gepard is really difficult. If things go right over the top of them, easy to shoot down. If they go to the side, it's harder, right? So, yeah, you've got to kind of know what path the enemy jet / missile's going to be coming in on to position them. And, you know, when they first sent them, they sent 10 Gepards and 15,000 rounds of ammunition. It's like, that's like a second, you know, for all of them. Like, and it's done. You know what I mean? We're hungry. Give us more. So some of it's been a joke, you know. And I will say this, though. I think Ukraine, again, needs a little bit of criticism, or the Ukrainian military's management of foreign volunteers. Like, I know an American who's a trained Bradley gunner. He's on top of an M113 with a PKM. He's tried fucking everything to let Ukraine put him in a Bradley, but they won't. Yeah. I know guys who are signals over here, right, who are like really well trained. I met a Polish guy who was a goddamn F-16 pilot, and he's clearing trenches over here. There are trained artillerymen standing round on sentry duty. Give them an M777.
This is actually
a HIMARS.
This is a like, big topic here.
Have you been a tankman in the British Army for the last 20 years? Have you done fuck all with your service except an exercise in Latvia or two or somewhere like that? Would you like to come and do your job properly in Ukraine instead of just join the International Legion? We'll give you a rifle. It's like, make use of talent, okay? An actual Brit. Imagine.
I think this is the main fucking problem. I think this is the main fucking problem we have right now in the army, and it's been big in Ukrainian news. Let me, guys, translate this news to you. This was a strike on Mirhorod airport. So it's from Sternenko. The enemy has published a video of the strike on our aircraft at the Mirhorod airfield. The strike video was filmed by a reconnaissance UAV at least 150 kilometers from the border, guys. 150 kilometers at least. There are damaged aircraft, but no personnel losses. Fortunately, information about the presence of a Russian reconnaissance aircraft in the air was available in advance. However, appropriate measures were not taken. Starting with negligence, continuing with the lack of shelters for aircraft, and ending with a shortage of personnel due to their deployment to infantry. This is what Mac is talking about. They started deploying the airfield personnel who could possibly shot that drone. They started relocating them to infantry. There have been at least 2 similar strikes on this airfield broadcasted by a reconnaissance aircraft in the last 2 weeks, not a month, guys. This is the 3rd airstrike on the same airport, and they just keep pounding it with missiles. Reconnaissance drones. This is actually the picture I've been showing you on the screen. I really wanted to translate this news for you because we have a big fucking problem with Syrskyi. When he come to power as a commander-in-chief, he started doing this. He started sending men to infantry. And they, you know, guys, how they explained it? They actually said, oh, guys, we don't actually need that many people for mobilization. A lot of people are just sitting there in the rear doing nothing. That's who they are sending to infantry these days. This is fucking outrageous, and it's been the biggest problem for us right now. We're losing aircraft because of this. Mac, so have you been here for the most of the translation?
No, because it dropped out of stream, and I was like, it'll come back in a sec, and then I had to go and press the link again. I'm sorry.
No
I was
problem.
on it, but yes, like us losing airplanes when we have so few.
No, the main problem, the main problem there was, man, starting with negligence, continuing with the lack of shelters for aircraft, and ending with a shortage of personnel due to their deployment to infantry. Remember when Syrskyi joined, when he became a commander-in-chief, they started doing a PR thing that we actually don't need that many men to be mobilized because, we discovered a bunch of people just sitting in the rear doing nothing. That's who they meant. They took the personnel from airfield, like the air defense of airfield, for example. They put them to infantry. That's fucking ridiculous. These men, with their Soviet mindset, Zaluzhny had his, I think, progressive mindset of kind of a NATO army. He was famous with that. He still was holding these generals, but they were not in power of brigades. When Syrskyi came together with Sodol, have you heard of Sodol? So this fucker Sodol is responsible for many operations where our soldiers were just sent on the minefields or...
Was this the Marine general?
The Marines, right? Yes. He's the general, head of the Marines.
I am not going to say the figures that I heard, right? But I have a friend who probably is known to a lot of your audience who was working in the Marine hospital prior to Christmas. And that was, as the big landings were happening, and they were very busy every day, like for a couple of months, 30, 40 guys a day. And the 300 point, wounded point, aid station, didn't get guys with any burn injuries to the throat, which, as the Russians were using TOS-1 thermobaric multiple launch rocket systems, there was going to be a lot of, and they didn't get the dead. It was I am not a general. I'm also not fucking stupid. Like, we do have tank shot across the river and good mortar positions across the river. to Krinky from that side. We also have it from Kherson to Aleshki City. Aleshki City actually has quite a lot of concrete buildings, also buildings that weren't quite as fucked by the flood from the Nova Kharkova. Krinky was fucked, right? Krinky was just a real...
We lost him again. Guys, this is the face of that Sodol. General Sodol, in Ukrainian, Sodol. So this is the man we're talking about. He's the butcher, and actually, you know, the head of Azov general staff.
I respect him. He spoke up and just...
He spoke up, and
that's the kind of guys we need running the Ukrainian army.
He actually has given a, how do you call it, when you go to let's say FBI and ask them to make an investigation for someone. So how do you call the process? To go and give a
statement. He gave a statement to...
He gave a statement, but he officially, he's given an official, how do you call the note that you give to the services? Go there and just not sign the... Fuck.
As a civilian, it'd be a statement. There might be a... I'm not sure. If there's an English translation.
Okay, let's say official statement to start the investigation.
Or an official complaint. He made an official complaint.
He made an official complaint, and the DBR, it's like FBI. We have this DBR, which is completely corrupt. DBR has no good reputation in Ukraine. They are famous, to only do the political orders, to actually take some cases to make them, to silence them up, so they are doing this. And that DBR, they actually, in Ukrainian, DBR, they did not start an investigation. They did not start an investigation, but by law, they must have started it against this Sodol. So this Sodol guy, Deep State yesterday or the day before yesterday, they made a list of those operations where he, by his orders, butchered our soldiers. I was about to read it today, to translate it to you and read it, but the thing is, we actually exceeded the time of the stream already. I was about to end it at 9 p.m. Though this Sodol guy, we have right now, like, most of the Ukrainian informational space is filled with this guy, and our society, Ukrainian society currently, and a lot of soldiers too, because a lot of soldiers suffered from his orders, and they lost a lot of brothers in arms. Guys, this is crazy what... fuck it, I'm gonna translate to you from Deep State, the post from Deep State, because it's an important message. I don't want to put it out for later. So if you'll excuse me, Mac, and let me translate it for the next 5 or 7 minutes, because it is important, and I usually don't have enough time for the news here on these streams, as we're fundraising, and there's always tickets being bought for the raffle and all that stuff, and I have my guests and conversations with them. But sometimes I just want to scream about some news, just like this one, and I think I need to use this opportunity, because I will just never do it. On the next stream, there's going to be a new pile of news that I will do the same thing with, So just give me a second. First thing to do is to find that one. I'll be quick. But Joe, maybe you can fill this silence for a minute or two and say your opinion on this shit.
Well, it's I think the sad fact of the matter is that there are many collaborators in Ukraine.
Oh yeah.
And you are able, and some of them, when general mobilization was declared, ended up in the army. And where collaboration by direct action starts and ends, and word collaboration by inaction, by simply doing your job really fucking badly.
Yeah, that's
And
what I actually think
maybe
about
being
this dude.
corrupt. Like we had this commander in the Legion who we in 1st Battalion, when that was the Legion, we pushed him out. And because Ukraine army, even though like we'd all literally said like, we don't want this fucking corrupt, nepotistic fucking guy. We don't want him who shits himself when we get fucking shelled and immediately runs off, right? We don't want this fucking guy, right? He walks around in civilian clothes and looks like a fucking Odessa gangster more than a soldier anyway. Fuck Bogdan, right? Instead of him being pushed out the army, right, he was given 3rd Battalion in the Legion, which is the Bogdan Special Operations Force Command. And I know a lot of guys who've been in there, and he sent a lot of guys on a lot of crazy fucking suicide missions. So whether that's just because he's a fucking retard, or, you know, hey, if Russia wins, I've been like, look at my track record. I was never working for Ukraine. I got loads of people killed.
Yeah, actually, you know, Bogdan Krotevich told in his statement, he said this general actually killed more Ukrainian soldiers than any Russian general. Like,
yeah, I can totally believe it.
This dude,
Krinky's been awful. Krinky's been awful for the guys who've been over there. And then, like, what do you do if you take Krinky? There's a Lashki to the right of you, which is what you should have focused on in the first place. And then there's just like miles and miles of wheat fields, miles of fucking wheat fields. Like,
it's not just Krinky.
It's mine, right? You know, so like you can start advancing across 50 to 100 kilometers of wheat field until you get to the next useful thing, you know, or you can drive up the road and hope we get to Melitopol, but like that would require a lot more effort than sending 1 or 2 brigades across the river to take a fucking village in a swamp.
Let me read the translation, because there's a list of all of these operations, and Krinky is among them in the end. So guys, this will take about 5 minutes, but it's worth it, believe me. So here it's actually the news from the deep state, which I'm showing you on the screen. I have the translation in another browser. It says, returning to the topic of the SBI's investigation into the activities of General Sodol. So on Saturday, it became known that it's DBR in Ukrainian, which is the Governmental Bureau of Investigations, like FBI. State, I think ChatGPT translated it as State Bureau of Investigation. This is why it's SBI. So let's continue with SBI. So on Saturday, it became known that the SBI included information provided by Azov Chief of Staff Krotevich into the materials of the criminal case regarding the breakthrough on the defense in Kharkiv region. Many questions arise, as it is about numerous decisions that resulted in significant human losses. It turns out that no one will be held accountable for, and there's a list. Yeah, it turns out that with the move of DBR, no one will be accountable for this, because Krotevich asked about investigation of this and not about the Kharkiv region breakthrough. This is a total bullshit, and it doesn't have anything to do with these. So listen to the list. Vodяне Opetne, the 503rd Battalion and 36th Marine Brigade suffered significant losses while restoring positions storming minefields. We also lost a friend from the 503rd Battalion there. It's the comment of Deep State. They lost a friend there. So there's this operation. Next one, Novodonetsk, June 5th to 7th of 2023. Under the watchful eye of Sodol's protégé, Colonel P., at the command post of the 37th Marine Brigade, they watched as in 3 days the Russians wiped out the 1st, 2nd, and 505th battalions of this brigade. Lightly armored French AMX-10s were sent into frontal attacks. The losses over those days amounted to about 12 vehicles. One was even captured by the Russians. The losses were so great that the Marines recorded videos calling for help, and some fled to unauthorized absence, with some even going abroad. Guys, some Marines needed to go abroad because of this, because they will be that Sodol and those fuckers, they will be after them. So they had some.
I have not mentioned it before, but yeah, because of what was happening in Krinky, a load of people deserted. You know, and I can't blame them. Like, the situations in this war were, there is literally nothing that can be done except throw men into the trench because there's a human wave coming, right? But we shouldn't try and create those situations. Like, we've killed a lot of orcs in Krinky and in the surroundings. I've been part of a team that's done a lot of them. But what the balance of casualty to casualty is, it's I don't think it's that uneven. And because, as I said, like, Aleshki would have been harder to take at the start, but it controls roads and there's concrete buildings. It has a strategic value. If you control Aleshki, the neck of Crimea is not so far away. If you control Krinky, it's like controlling any other fucking village in Ukraine. You control a village.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Like when the Vatniks go like, oh, Russia's taken this village in the east, and it's like, well, it's terrible they have, but strategically, so fucking what?
This is not the end.
Like, you've taken 12 houses, and what's beyond those houses? Oh, another 3 to 5 kilometer wide wheat field. Good luck crossing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let me get to Krinky. The list, this is still not the end of the list. This is the next one, guys. 35th and 38th Brigade. 38th Brigades, yeah. So, let's go. In September, the 35th and 38th Marine Brigades were sent to storm Novomayorsk. There were no results, only personnel and equipment losses. Probably this was a kind of rest before the landing in Krinky and Pishanivka. Nice rest, right? Then Krinky, guys. Here we need to talk to the fighters of the 35th, 36th and 38th Marine Brigades, and later the 37th, who became hostages of an operation for the sake of operation. This was really an operation for the sake of the operation. All the bridgeheads were supposed to be until December 1. So it's like a deadline. They were promised that they will get out of Krinky until December 1. The Marines thought they would endure a little longer, and that would be it. But the holding of the bridgehead continued. Defense forces soldiers showed immense heroism and professionalism, expanding the bridgehead. But there were times when food and water were delivered only by drones. There were a lot down here. Happens a lot. There were cases where the wounded waited a month for evacuation. Guys, a month.
I've heard that.
This is no longer about the golden hours.
Oh, golden hours never been a reality in Ukraine.
Yeah. Just let me continue with that. There were cases. Okay. What the fuck, those golden hours? This is no longer about the golden hours that some spokespersons talked about those days. You know, we have such a stupid fucking people on our TV that I would spit in the face, in their faces. You know. So let me finish with that. We're heading to the end of the stream. Yeah, sorry for that. Also, the question arises of what the now deceased paramedic of the 2nd Battalion of the 37th Brigade was doing in Krimki. They sent a paramedic, guys, of the 2nd Battalion, like the battalion level. Overall, we hope and believe in the power of justice. We want to believe that the SBI will interview the fighters of these brigades and gather enough materials to make a fair decision. However, most of the participants of those events have already been written off due to injuries, died, transferred to other units, or are in unauthorized absence. So there is a lot of work, but if it is not done, there will be a lot of distrust in society, which is beneficial to the enemy. And I think this distrust is already here. I can feel it. I feel this distrust every day. And I just am so enraged by this, guys. Thank you for listening to this. This is important to me.
I can't blame young Ukrainian men for not wanting to get conscripted and
because
thrown with not enough training into a horrible, dangerous as fuck war. But like I am lucky as fuck to have good officers down here. Right, I am lucky as fuck. But yeah, like the idea of some old fucking Soviet who just, even whether it's corruption or treachery or just a pig-headed, born and taught in the USSR attitude, or by a father who was very much of that way of thinking. And what you do in situations of stress is default to USSR thinking, i.e. throw men into the gap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where those circles overlap is a matter for the courts.
I lean,
me,
I actually lean to this man being a traitor, but this is just my opinion. I don't have any proof to that. But unfortunately, we need to finish the stream. Because, I was supposed to do it at 9 p.m., so 25 minutes, how do you call it, due?
Past, late.
Past. I thought
we started at 7. I don't know, it's been fun. I was very, very tired on your last stream. So I've managed to, I had a massive coffee before I started this. So I hope it's been entertaining for your guests. And if anyone you'd like to follow me on Big Mac's Battle Blog and like and subscribe and leave a comment longer than 7 words and all of that, I'd really appreciate it, because it's a teeny tiny little channel.
Guys, in the description of the stream, there's Mac's Buy Me a Coffee. You can become a member there. You can send money to his PayPal directly. By the way, I owe you $10 from Tune. I'll send it after the stream, after we finish it. So I want to ask you to support this amazing fella, because he's been defending Ukraine, and not just Ukraine, all Europe and US from potential wars that US citizens will be involved in, and they will also be dying on the battlefield, because if we won't stop Russia in here, there's gonna be more wars to fight, and it's gonna be.
It won't stop.
Yeah, it won't stop. It won't stop until the humankind is done.
You might get a pause for a little bit to allow the dumb to subjugate, to sabotage the stand against Putin spirit in their own country. Sadly, there's people out there who really think that, like, NATO, which is an organisation made up of a lot of democratic fair countries that are nice to live in, some of whom who were neutral until recently, they actually compare that to a dictator who wants to be seen as the last strong man of Russia. He wants that Stalin statue. Some people sadly believe that. Anyway, I'll let you wrap things up. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, my friend.
To the listeners, and as always, to our Russian and Vatnik listeners, Idina Hoyzalupa.
Nice one.
Have a good night, Rick.
Thank you very much, Joe, and thank you, Rollers, for being here. Thank you for all the gifted memberships. By the way, Mr. Kaplan forgot to thank you. I forgot to thank my moderators. Thank you, guys. You're doing a great job, and it was indeed a very cool stream. I see people say that. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Thank you guys for asking questions. I didn't answer many of them, but there was a cool conversation. So, Joe, I would love to see you here more often, definitely, because I enjoy your company and your sense of humor, and Rollers too. So let's do one in a few weeks.
Give me a message in the week, man. We can sort something out. I just needed a few months off because I was all brain damaged and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun to be me on my own, let alone be entertaining for other people. But yeah,
I can imagine.
It's all fixed now. Good thick northern skull.
Yep.
Anyway,
thank you guys. Once again, before we finish, become a member on Joe's Buy Me a Coffee, or just buy him a coffee. Become a member on my Buy Me a Coffee. We need support. Well, basically, right now it's my salary, and Joe needs support. So thank you, Joe, once again. Live long and prosper, my friend. And
live long and prosper.
Yeah, you managed to do that. And slow green.
Live long and prosper. Good night. Goodbye, Rick.
Yeah, bye, Joe. Bye, Rollers. Finishing it up and see you. Yeah, by the way, okay, I'll just say a few words. Maybe the stream on Sunday will not happen. So if it will not happen, please still do the donations, because we still have our goal. When I'm back from the trip with Greg, I'm going to donate that money on the stream. You will see everything as always. So please keep donating. Live long, prosper, and donate. Thank you, guys. And remember that we're raffling this epic Domain Directorate of Intelligence of Ukraine patch. Love you all. See you soon. I don't know when, to be honest. Right now, I don't know when. So